Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Lost Ox Media. As always, I'd like to thank you on joining me for yet another week of debauchery where we make you take a second look at what you just watched. Big dreams of whip cleaner, shift mean green, sip lean, and the ups don't know. Y'all ready for another good episode? Cause I know I am. Let's see. Who do we have on the docket for this week? We have the good old golden hour with Chris D'Elia, Brendan Schwabe, and Eric Griffin. You guys know my clone, Eric Griffin? Yes. This is going to be an interesting episode for a couple different reasons. One, I didn't even know this was still a podcast. I thought this show got canceled when Chris D'Elia got canceled for all that grooming shit, right? Number two, it's going to be like watching three washed up ass comedians kind of wallow in this like proverbial hell that they've created for themselves. You know, all three of them have kind of washed themselves out of the comedy world and got stuck in this like podcast hell. It's going to be like watching the Three Stooges of podcasting. Going to be very fun, this one. Then we're going to check out the History Hyenas guest appearance on JRE. You remember last episode, I had talked about Chris DiStefano and how he mentioned him and Hyenas' appearance and how they bombed almost the entire episode, right? So we're going to get to check out those time codes and get to check out some of those bombs. Then we're going to dive into a little bit of Matan Evan, his episode with Tim Heidecker. This one's going to be kind of wild because it's not very often that we get to see the guest on Matan's show give him a dose of his own medicine. You know, usually these comedians and celebrities, they go on there and they're the ones who squirm. Not very often you see them kind of dish it back, and that's what we're going to see Tim do to Matan. It's going to be kind of wild. Then we're going to end the episode on Armie Hammer making a very special guest appearance on Your Mom's House. This is going to be crazy because if you remember anything about Armie's cancellation, you remember that this guy was like pretty much a fucking cannibal. He was like, had leaked text, leaked phone calls talking about how he wanted to like cut women's toes off and like keep them in his back pocket and shit, you know? So we're going to kind of like watch Tom and Christina do their part, if you will, in trying to normalize that kind of behavior. It's going to be very, very interesting. But if you've been paying attention this last couple episodes, I've been starting with these like funny videos. You know, last episode I showed you guys I Show Speed's backflip into oblivion. That was kind of crazy, right? This week I'm going to show you guys a different one. This fucking clip is actually insane. So, I don't know who these two guys are. This is like a rapper's podcast. It's one-on-one with Mike D, right? I don't know who the rapper is. I don't know who the host is. I don't know anything about these two guys. What I do know is that when you're podcasting and you go to reach for something in your pocket, this isn't supposed to happen. Check this out.
And choices we got in life, those were your choices. Who shot who?
Who shot who, he says, bro. What the Who shot who? Tell me. I didn't have that on my bingo card for 2025. A guy shoots off a gun in the middle of a podcast. You know what's wild about this is like, if you're a responsible gun owner, a clip like this drives you fucking crazy. If you're a Trump supporter, a clip like this drives you fucking nuts. You see some shit like this, you're like, where's the holster? Why doesn't he have a safety on? What's happening here? You know, if you're Anthony Cumia, you're like, why does a black man have a gun? These Second Amendment Trump supporters are going crazy off a clip like this, right? But they're almost justified in doing so. I mean, this guy practically shot a gun off in the middle of The Office. Like, you ever see that episode of The Office with Dwight? He shoots off his gun, everybody starts freaking out, right? And then this guy, the only response he has to this, he goes, who shot who? Like, are you fucking actually insane right now? Let's watch this happen again.
If those were your choices.
I get scared every time.
Who shot who? Somebody got shot?
Lo, you good, Lo?
I hope. Y'all good?
Damn, Brody. Look at they have this is like another Tuesday for them. This is fucking crazy. This is a felony too. Ain't that some shit? You can't just fire off a gun like wherever you want to fire off a gun. Like that's not how that works, you know? If you're not trying to like shoot someone in self-defense, you know, someone from killing you, or you're somewhere where a gun is supposed to be fired, you cannot just go firing off guns wherever the fuck you want. That's not how that shit works.
Good. What the fuck?
Notice though, my man, he did not drop a Z blunt, bro. He did not drop a Z blunt. Look, I'm fucking sitting here struggling with my goddamn keyboard. Look at this guy. He did not drop a Z blunt. You know what I'm saying? That's good shit right there. That's good shit.
The dirty third one-on-one with Mike D. I thought my nigga shot me.
Look, that guy, he's like all trying to make a joke out of it and shit. This guy is still fucking shell-shocked off of this. He's like, bro, I might be doing a bit off of this shit right here. Like, and then the craziest part, like I said, this is a felony. These guys just go and like post the shit like as if it's sweet, you know? So let's give it up for these two crazy assholes, you know what I mean? I ain't never seen no shit like that, you know? That's some wild stuff. So let's get into the good old golden hour with the boys, right? Like I said, very interesting episode because for one, Eric Griffin's out sick, you know, so we're not gonna see Eric. It's kind of a bummer, I know, but we'll have to do without him. The other thing that's kind of interesting about it is like when I was watching it, I hadn't watched this show in a while. Like I said, I thought it was canceled. When I was watching it, if you pay attention to Brendan Schwab, or not Brendan Schwab, if you pay attention to Chris D'Elia, right? When we're going through these time codes, Chris absolutely fucking hates the fact that he's there. Like he can't stand it. You know, when he got canceled for that grooming stuff, no one wanted to touch him. There was like a good while where he wasn't even able to tour, you know, but now 2025, Trump going into office, people can say retard and fag and midget and stuff. So really nobody even like gets canceled anymore. It's like not even a thing. People will like say it, you know, they'll be like, this guy's canceled, right? Everyone shows up to the show. Chris D'Elia gets canceled, guys selling out theaters, no problem. So let's not sweat the small stuff, you know? But you can see in like the podcasting world and other forms of media, not too many people want to work with Chris anymore. And it's like you think, okay, nobody gets canceled anymore. Why won't they work with him? It's because he's like a crazed sex addict and people don't want to be around that type of guy all the time, you know? It was one thing when he was like too hot to trot before he got caught, you know what I mean? Everybody wanted a piece of him. So people wanted to be around that to try to ride the coattails of that a little bit. Once he gets caught and actually gets canceled, people are like, well, you know, he was already kind of a creepy guy to fucking start with. So let's just kind of call it a day with that, you know? But before we get into these time codes, I want to start with the intro, man. I always love a good golden hour intro. So let's check out the foreshadowing, and then we'll jump into the intro.
Where would you guys pee?
Pee? Oh.
Is a sink an option?
Friends that laugh, we're friends that shout. Sometimes we don't know what we're talking about, but that won't stop us.
Dude, isn't that funny? Like, I went to, like, go hit my bowl, and then the song started. I kind of did, like, the thing that they do, the little cheesy fucking 90s sitcom opening. Where I, like, went to hit the bowl, and if you paid attention, I kind of, like, jumped up and, like, looked at the camera and was like, oh, the song is starting. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I actually did that shit. Like, let's go back. I want to see that. I want to hear that song in its entirety, baby. Let's go.
Laugh, we're friends that shout. Sometimes we don't know what we're talking about, but that won't stop us. Nothing can stop us. Ooh, yeah. 'Cause I can show you use the love. Just rebrand it enough. It's stronger, better, bigger power, 'cause it is the golden hour. It's the golden
That ice coffee looks nice.
Yeah, dude, you ain't getting it.
Oh, god damn, dude. When they throw a close-up of Brendan Schwab on the goddamn screen, that shit is actually fucking crazy, bro. Like, this guy looks the craziest that a man could look in his situation, you know? Washed-up comedian. Only friend is Chris D'Elia, Eric Griffin. You know, Theo Vaughn leaves you by the wayside, you know? It cancels King and the Sting on your ass, you know? And this guy, he's like kind of... What I like about what he has going on here, the one thing I will give him, is he's finally embracing that 1/100th of Mexican that he has in his bloodstream. Finally got it going on for him. His mom was half Mexican. That makes him like a quarter Mexican. You know what I mean? There's not very much Mexican in there. And then when you're a Latino, if you don't speak full-blown Spanish, trust me, I'm a Latino that doesn't speak full-blown Spanish. You practically might as well be white. You know what I mean? Nobody in the Latino world is going to fucking respect you, okay? You're going to be stuck in that gray area where you're not white because white people don't fuck with you. You're not really Latino either because you don't speak Spanish. You don't fit in, okay? But I give Brendan an A for effort, you know, on his attempt. You know, he's got shaved head. He's got the fucking, like, mullet thing going on. Mexicans nowadays, like, you guys see that, who's that kid, Mexican OT or some shit? I don't know how you say this guy's name. He's like this hot new Mexican rapper. Fat boy. Very fat boy. Shaved head, though, like this, with like the mullet kind of situation that Brendan's trying to go for here. I kind of like it.
You ain't getting it, man. I was going to go to Phil's. I would have got you one, but...
Oh, I already had Phil's. Oh. 2 Phil's is too much, but that looks nice. It looks dark roast.
No, it's
Are we on, Nicholas?
It's just espresso.
Are we on, Nicholas? Are we on? Can't stand that shit. Every time these guys, they go on a show, it's like they always have to start it by being like, are we on? Are we on? Like, they'll be like talking to each other. They'll be like, yo, bro, I was like raping this girl in this comedy club, bro. Shit was crazy because like all the other comedians in the green room, we were all laughing because it was so fucking hilarious. They look up at the camera like, oh shit, we're rolling right now? It was all a joke. You know what I mean? I didn't really pull a switcheroo with Carlos Mencia on his tour bus with some drunk chick, you know? It's Brad Williams, if you remember that. Now watch, I told you guys, these three dynamic, Eric not being here. So it's going to be Brendan and Chris's dynamic. You could tell Brendan's kind of like the retarded friend who like, he just is happy to be there. You know, he's kind of one of them. He's like a retarded dog in a Pixar movie. It's kind of like, that's the energy that you get from Brendan. So you throw anybody in that podcast room, he's going to be, and they're a comedian, he's going to be stoked that they're just like cool with being around him. So the fact that Chris is here, doesn't bother Brendan. In fact, he loves it because Chris is actually funny. So Brendan's like, whoa, a comedian wants to hang out with me. This is awesome. Chris, on the other hand, not so stoked. You know, Chris is used to like being guests on like the big time podcast. Chris was used to his podcast being like second to Theo Vaughn in the podcast numbers. You know what I mean? So once Chris got canceled and he kind of got thrown into this golden hour box, you know, it's really kind of like pissed him off, you know? You could see it in his face throughout these episodes. You could see he just like is kind of really in his head and he's like, I cannot fucking believe that all these decisions I made in my career have led me here. Like the way that the golden hour even came to be was when Theo Vaughn was still on the King and the Sting. He was making very seldom appearances. You could tell that he was on his way out. They started kind of like bringing Chris in as a guest. And this was like right after his cancellation or like right during the time of the cancellation, right? So they start bringing him in more and more as a guest. He almost like weasels his way into the podcast, right? Theo sees this. Theo's like, I don't like this, man. This kind of crazy ass energy that I don't like around. This guy's like a sex addict and stuff, you know? Then the cancellation comes around. Theo's in his mind, he's like, oh man, I made the right move right there. I can't believe that I was actually right about something for once, you know? So then King and the Sting is over because Theo's out. So they call it like the King and the Wing and the Cling or something like that. And they bring Eric Griffin and Chris D'Elia in there full time with Brendan. So then they rebrand the show as the Golden Hour. That's what we have right here. This is like a a re-gift. You know what I mean? That we're getting right here. So now watch. You're going to see them starting to talk about like, man, what's it going to be like when podcasters get old and washed up? What's it going to be like when comedians get old and washed up? And you're kind of going to hear Brendan kind of talking shit about like comedians getting old and how podcasters, that might be the better move when you're older. Chris doesn't see it this way. And when you hear Brendan's points, he's kind of like spitting hot fire. And you could see Chris is the whole time, he's not liking this.
In 20 years, there'll be there'll be a lot of 60-year-old podcasts.
Yeah, us, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Brian's can be 80.
Bro,
This is what I thought about when I was a teenager, like when rappers
Oh,
get
yeah,
old.
yeah. I used to think that
now
too,
it's going
yeah.
to be podcasters.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get shot like all the rappers. Dude,
But what's gonna be weird is our kids will be able to listen to like a whole catalog.
I thought
Holy shit!
I think about that all the time.
Our dads
bro.
were dumbasses.
Yeah, I know. No, I think about that all the time. And then I don't know. If I'm still podcasting at 60, behead me.
Behead me. Let's just behead him right the fuck now. Let's actually kill Chris D'Elia now. Like, he doesn't have to be a 60-year-old podcaster. We could just do it now and get it over with. Imagine this guy when he's fucking 60. Spit on him.
I don't know. If I'm still podcasting at 60, behead me.
Are you gonna be doing stand up?
Yeah, yeah.
See, I think that looks weird.
Oh, fuck. Look at Chris. Look at fucking Chris. Chris is like, what do you mean, man? What's so weird about it? Like, what's so weird about wanting to get up on a stage and try to get the attention of all these assholes in this comedy club while I'm just like working out my routine, man? You know what I mean? What's so weird about wanting to be a clown at the age of 60 when I'm supposed to be a senior citizen? I don't understand. Like, this is actually throwing Chris for a fucking tailspin. He's like, did Brendan actually just say that shit? Because Chris is used to Brendan kind of like going along with everything he says. So now that Brendan's kind of like, I actually think that what you're saying is the weirder option. I think it's actually more sane to be like wanting to podcast when you're that old. You know, people actually might want to tune in. Nobody's going to give a shit about you if you're some old wrinkled fuck on the comedy stage dancing around trying to get everyone to pay attention to them. You know, that's not what we're here for.
Doing stand up?
Yeah.
See, I think that looks weird.
Really? Why? Because
when you saw like,
I guess I see what you're saying.
I mean, granted, you know, he had some dark arts, but like when you saw Bill Cosby at like 70 doing like, hey, bro.
Yeah.
I don't see Tom Brady throw a pass at 70 either.
Right. Well, but comedians, a lot of time, comedians can get better. But
After 60?
Ooh, look at that. Look at Brendan. Brendan kind of is like, he's got his tongue out. He's kind of like, yeah, I might have got this motherfucker. Like, Brendan kind of knows that what he's saying is like reigning supreme right now. Chris is kind of struggling to like fight back on his points here. Brendan's about to make a total ass out of this guy's point. Like, and it's funny because what Brendan brings up is true. He's about to say like, you know, your mind's not as sharp when you're older. You're not doing as many spots. You're not traveling on the road, so you don't got the life experience to talk shit about, you know? How are you going to make an airplane joke on stage when you're too old to fucking ride in an airplane, you know? How are you going to do that? You know, so this is not going to work out. You know, it's not going to work like this.
After 60, I don't know. But athletes, they don't get better. They get...
The point is, I don't see... Well,
Yeah.
It's not like your brain's getting sharper when you're 70.
Yeah, I guess.
And you're a little more out of tune with shit. Like, you don't have your ear to the ground.
But that's why I say they
You're not
can
doing
get
spots.
better. That's why I say they can
Like,
get
there's
better.
nothing worse when you see, like, an old, salty comic. Just the old
that's the
dude never
worst.
made it.
That's-
and you're like, oh, he's at
Yeah.
the store or the Laugh Factory Monday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
Well, yeah.
Hoping.
Not getting on or getting on.
Or he might get
Look, Brendan is like fucking, this is the one and only time I think that if you've ever paid attention to anything Brendan said, this is like the one and only time he's ever said anything that actually like makes a little bit of sense. Like, this guy has been hit with so much goddamn CT that like 95% of the time he's saying shit that's like dead ass not funny, or you just can't even understand what he's saying. You're like, where did you fucking pull that one out of, man? Like, that shit's fucking crazy. But all these points kind of make sense, you know? Like, imagine, like, a good example of what he's talking about is like Andrew Dice Clay. You know, all these comedians like Joe Rogan and shit like that, they all talk about Andrew Dice Clay as if this guy is like the best that ever was. Nobody gave a fuck about Hickory Dickory Doc like 5 years after he started saying this shit. Like, all of them sucked this guy's ass because he was like the first comedian to ever sell out Madison Square Garden. Who gives a shit? Okay? Like, the first person to do something doesn't mean that they're like the greatest or like still good at doing it, right? Think about like the Olympics. The first person to ever throw a goddamn javelin probably ain't got shit on the steroid-filled, muscled freaks that we have nowadays, you know? So just because they were the first person to do it doesn't mean that they were fucking good, okay? They were just the first person to do it, okay? That's kind of what we have going on here. Now, if you paid attention, like I said, you would have seen that Chris has these, like, he has this very mundane, like, attitude, you know? You hear him talking, he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. Okay, on to the next point. And then they say something, and you see him, like, looking up, and he just seems, like, disinterested and everything. And you're going to hear, like, when people make jokes, he kind of, like, tries his hardest not to laugh. You just see a lot of disdain on this guy's face. You could really tell, if you're paying attention, he just doesn't want to be here.
I don't know, man. I always feel like with old guys, it happens really all of a sudden, and you're like, they just trail off one day talking about fucking, you know,
Nazis.
houses. And you're just like, what is he talking about? No houses are really no houses are 8 stories. You know, what is he saying?
Or they just start
and then you're like, oh, it's over for him. He's talking about 8-story houses?
or it's like,
So now they're still talking about like this point a couple minutes later about like comedians and podcasters getting older. And right now they're talking shit about their friend Brian Callen, who is another sexual deviant. And they're basically talking about like what he's going to be like when he's old. And they're saying, well, it's going to be like a light switch. Like one day he's just going to be talking about like 8-story houses and shit. And you're just going to notice that he's kind of like falling off the rocker here. So that's what they're kind of talking about now for some context.
like Larry King, where he's just farting, doesn't give a fuck.
That
Just
was great. Well,
he's
that's kind of gangster though. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but we're basically talking about Eric. But I feel like Eric is. I feel
Eric's gonna turn a fucking werewolf in 10 years.
If Brian's like 84 and they're still doing the podcast, so he'll be like, great news, having another baby.
Ooh. Now this is kind of great, right? The producer's coming in. He's actually got like a funny joke here. You see both of these two fucking assholes laughing their asses off, right? Brendan's embracing the joke. Brendan's like, oh, this is the funniest shit I've ever heard come out of Nick's mouth. It's about time. Chris is over here doing the same, but you're going to see he don't want to laugh at this joke. Wait until you see the way that he like actually sits there and like sighs and almost sounds like pissed. He goes, that was a great joke. Like he actually like almost like he doesn't want to admit it. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't want to have a good time. And the fact that these guys are actually making him have a good time is fucking killing him. Pay attention to Chris.
Oh, fuck. That's great. That's great. Oh, man.
What he's gonna do?
Look at him. Watch. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about right here. He's going to be like, that was actually a great joke, man. It was actually pretty good. I'm surprised you like watch.
Yeah, that is a great joke.
I think that's what Brian's gonna do. Can't go out like
Look at that. Watch. Look at his face. Watch. I'm going to zoom in on him. You're going to see. We're going to get this like corner shot, right? Because it's going to cut to the next shot. We're going to need to get both in frame. So look right here. You could see he's kind of like, God damn, how did I get here? You know, I'm having a good couple laughs, but like, seriously, this is bullshit, right? And then you're going to see the way his face changes after he says that was a good joke. He's like, it's like a piece of him like left. You know what I mean? Just from him admitting that, a piece of his soul like left his body.
Joke.
I think so.
Look at him. Look at him. He's sitting there like, he's like gritting his teeth. He's like got one eyebrow up. He's like, holy fuck, man. I can't even believe I'm here. I can't even believe that this guy like could even become a sex addict. You know what I mean? Like that actually is kind of crazy to me. for the simple fact that like this dude is like uglier than sin. Imagine him when he's like 60, because he has those like cheeks that like you could tell when he gets older they're gonna turn into like jowls. He's gonna be one of those like dudes that looks into the camera and goes, diabetes. You know what I mean? Some shit like that. That's like what we're gonna see out of Chris D'Elia in the coming years. You know, it's gonna be very wild stuff. Now, you see, he doesn't want to be here, right? But this next time code's actually gonna be kind of funny. They're gonna start talking about a friend of Chris's that is autistic, right? Chris is basically going to start making jokes saying like, I think I'm on the spectrum. You know, everybody nowadays, they always are making these jokes like, man, I think I'm a little bit like retarded, bro. Like just because they have a couple weird like social quirks or some shit like that, or maybe because they spend too much time in the house. This is something I've actually been wanting to talk about for a long time now. So people will say this. They'll be like, bro, I think that I'm like autistic, man. I think I'm on the spectrum. When in reality, they just don't get out of the house enough, you know? Like when the internet took over, a lot of people started spending a lot more time inside. You ever notice how nowadays, like, unless it's like a gated community or some shit, you don't really see kids like hanging out and getting like dirty and running through the woods and shit like that. Like everything is kind of like inside nowadays, you know? Let's all get together on the Call of Duty server. Can't do that in the middle of a football field, right? You know, everybody's on TikTok. Everyone wants to be an influencer. They're dancing in their bedrooms and shit like that. And that kind of shit it's not just kids, it's adults too. You know? Everything is so easily accessible now. I could get Uber Eats to my house, all this. So people spend more time at home. And when you do that, you kind of lose the muscle of like interacting socially, you know? So people kind of like, they go out in public, they start freaking out. They don't know what the fuck to do because they spend like 98% of their time inside. And then they go, man, I think I'm autistic, bro. I think I'm on the spectrum because when I go outside, I get so much anxiety, I almost can't contain myself. Why? Because you never go outside. You know, when you do something that makes you uncomfortable, you get used to doing it, it doesn't make you uncomfortable anymore. The anxiety goes away, right? So if you maybe interacted with a couple more people, if you didn't just like goon out all day and order Uber Eats for every single meal, you might not think that way about yourself, buddy. Like Chris D'Elia, you know, he had to do the hermit crab shit. After that cancellation, no one wants to fuck with you. You have to like recluse into your house or else you're going to lose everything. So now Chris is losing some of that social wherewithal, right? That he used to have when he was out and about all the time. Now he thinks he's autistic. Then he's going to start talking about his weird autistic friend.
This is where I'm supposed to.
Is your brother on the spectrum too?
Bro, you can't say two. You don't know if I am or not.
No,
but
110% you are.
Matt, no, I don't think Matt is. No.
No? Nothing?
Mm-mm. I got a friend that came over the other day, and he's on the spectrum. He knows he is. And
Like how bad?
you know, he's totally. I mean, he's a friend. I hang out with him all the time, so it's not like, you know, it's not like he's like, you know what I mean? But like,
I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of funny, bro. Like, what the fuck? That was kind of funny to be like, he's not like, you know what I mean? It reminded me of like, Donald Trump. When he was making fun of that dude when he was talking on the podium, he's like, like, you know what I mean? That's what that kind of reminded me of.
You're always like, bro, shut the fuck up.
He doesn't have full-blown downs?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I assumed that.
He's not like this. But you do tell him to shut the fuck up a lot.
Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I like clips like this, right? Where you hear one of these podcasters talk about like a friend of theirs and what they might have done or like a weird quirk that they might have. They leave out the name, right? Or they end up saying the name later, which Chris is going to reveal who his retarded friend is later. So stay tuned. But they start talking about this information and then you start putting together like other shit from other shows because of what they say, right? Let me contextualize that because I know that sounded crazy vague. Like, for example, all these comedians, a lot of them work together, hang out with each other, or they have to like at least bump into each other at some of these clubs, right? So they might start talking about each other on the shows, but they'll like leave out the names. Like I watched an episode of Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast once, right? And there was this Australian comedian on there. And he started talking about how he opened up for an American comedian that had a big name at the time, but how bad of a sex addict this American comedian was, right? He started talking about how as soon as this American comedian got off the plane, he immediately started Snapchatting, trying to fuck girls, left the guy completely, went and did his own thing. Then, right before the show, had a girl in the green room. Right after the show, Snapchatting, trying to hook up with girls. This guy, the whole time he was in Australia for like 48 hours, this guy had tried to hook up with like 10 different girls, right? The comedian he was talking about was Chris D'Elia, right? So it's funny when you start to hear these podcasters talking about this stuff in their shows, and then you could put together the clues later, right? We don't necessarily have that 100% here because, like I said, they're about to pretty much tell who this autistic friend is that Chris D'Elia has to constantly tell to shut the fuck up. And I thought this was kind of funny because it's going to be a jamoke that we've talked about on the show.
You can't name the name of your friend.
I think he's public about it.
I'll tell you if he is.
I think he's public about it. Chris is treating this as if like his friend raped someone like he did. You know what I mean? He's like treating this as if like his friend being autistic is gonna like get him locked up or something. Bro, if your friend's retarded, bro, like we're cool, bro. Like as long as he's not weird.
I think he's public about it.
I'll tell you if he is. What's his name?
Rick Glassman?
Yeah.
Rick Glassman? What the fuck? Okay, forget what I said about us being cool with your friend as long as he's not weird, because Rick Glassman is weird and retarded. He's like all of it. You know what I mean? I thought this was so goddamn funny when he's sitting there. Chris was legitimately sitting there saying, I got this friend. He's like autistic, right? He's on the spectrum. I hang out with him all the time. He's not like this. He doesn't do like this. But you do have to tell him to shut the fuck up a lot. You know? Imagine that. Imagine being such an annoying bastard that this canceled asshole right here has to tell you to shut the fuck up all the time. You know? Usually guys in a position like Chris, they lose a little bit of self-confidence. So they kind of put up with other people's bullshit a little bit. Like they kind of feel like they have to make up for all of the wrong that they did in their lives. Now imagine, you're so goddamn annoying that Chris D'Elia has to constantly tell you to shut the fuck up. I thought that was crazy. You know what I mean? So listen, the fact when he said, "Oh, my friend, his name is Rick Glassman," I almost spit out my goddamn coffee.
I think it's just kind of like I don't even know if you need to go to an expert. It's just kind of like, you know.
I have it.
Yeah.
You can't name the name of your friend.
I think he's public about it.
I'll tell you if he is. What's his name?
Rick Glassman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Rick's great though.
No, he's one of my best friends, yeah.
Yeah, Rick's great.
He was over the other night. And he was,
Ooh, look, I wonder if like Rick Glassman would actually admit to that. You know? Because people still don't fuck with Chris like that. Like, when you hear people talking about Chris, like, they go, yeah, I hung out with him, like, one time. You know? Like, Brian Callen was, like, Chris's best friend at the time. Soon as Chris got canceled, Brian's like, me and Chris, we hung out, like, one time. Like, that was it. We just hung out, like, one time. You know? And then every episode, people started posting clips on the fucking subreddits. Like, you sure? Because, like, in this podcast, you talk about how you hang out with them, like, every day. In the next podcast, you talk about how, like, he gives you reach around. In this podcast clip, you're talking about how you hold each other's junk while you pee. Like, it seems like you guys are pretty goddamn good friends, you know? I thought that was funnier than fuck, you know? But this one was good. Remember I told you how Brendan's, like, constantly, he was, like, spitting a lot of facts, like, during this episode, you know? He did it when he was talking about how it's creepy that comedians try to still keep the act going when they're old. He's about to do it right here with a little bit of self-analysis. One of the biggest things that a lot of people shat on Brendan for was the fact that he pretty much tried to, like, strong-arm his way into the comedy scene just because he had a couple of friends that were comedians. He started throwing out specials when he wasn't ready to do so. Joe Rogan's on his podcast telling him, like, you're not ready, man. Like, you can't be doing specials, man. You gotta like give up on the UFC, man. You suck as a fighter. You gotta give up on stand-up comedy, man. Can't do a special when you're 3 years in, man. You know? Like, so everybody from the rip was talking shit about Brendan's stand-up, you know? Then he comes out with this Gringo Poppy special that he releases. Everyone's talking shit on that. To the point to where this guy got so much internet hate that he actually gave up on stand-up. Was like, I'm just going to do the fucking podcasting from this point forward, right? So we're about to hear him talk about that and pretty much admit that he wasn't ready and how he tries to give this advice to comedians coming up because he's lived the experience himself.
Like, and you're going to be doing stand-up. Obviously, like, you know, we're past it, but like, you're doing it for fucking 3 years and everyone's putting up clips and your stuff's not that good, right?
No.
It's just not. It's just not.
And these kids don't realize, like, they're happening with me. It's like, if you post a clip, remember, they're seeing D'Elia's clip, Bill Burr's clip,
Right.
Ryan Callen's clip, Rogan's clip, Segura's clip.
Right.
They don't give a fuck if you've been doing it 4 years.
Yeah, true. Good point.
So if you're a new stand-up and you're on the stage, whether it's Laugh Factory, it's the Comedy Store, people are like, Comedy Store, it's like, all right, you're same as those guys. You put the clip out, you're going to be judged based off that, you know? But you feel pressure. Like,
I know.
I felt so much pressure.
Well, now at this point, you can't make it if you don't have a big following online.
Look, Brendan's like, I felt so much pressure, man. I felt so much goddamn pressure. I thought that was crazy. Like, I never thought in a million years, like, you would hear someone like Brendan Schwabe actually admit this bullshit, you know? Because he reminds me of, like, Steve-O. Steve-O's still also living in that, like, where Steve-O's like, I'm telling you, man, I could totally be a stand-up, man. Like, I just got to keep working at the craft. Imagine someone trying to do a whole fucking hour stand-up set. They sound like this. They're trying to tell you jokes like this. Knock, knock. Who's there? Like, I would run onto the stage like a terrorist and try to tackle this asshole. Like, you got to be kidding me with that shit. So, to hear Brendan talk about this was kind of rich, you know? But this whole episode, we're going to end it on this time code right here. I just want to show you guys. This whole episode, it lost steam in like less than a half an hour. I was watching this. After the time codes I showed you, that last time code was 21 minutes in. I'm about to show you a time code at like 46 minutes in. I was almost ready to turn this thing off. If you had 1 hour left to live, watch an episode of The Golden Hour. It'd be the longest goddamn hour of your life. You'd think you got an extra day out of the shit. You know what I mean? Because as soon as it went past the half an hour mark, this shit went off a cliff so goddamn fast. Listen to the pace of them talking, the energy in the room, the whole thing.
No, but I watched Lost and just had such a blast watching it, man.
It was on ABC, right?
I don't know.
It's like,
Yeah, it was.
It's a far house.
See, remember I told you how Chris like just has that I don't want to be here type attitude? He goes, I watched Lost on NBC. It was so good, man. And then he goes, well, what'd you watch? He goes, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, man. I'm like, are the paychecks in yet? You know, like, that's kind of like what I get off of this guy. This is what he's giving, you know?
I regret bringing you up from.
No, but I watched Lost and just had such a blast watching it, man.
It was on ABC, right?
I don't know.
It's like,
Yeah, it was.
It's a far house.
Well, all
Just
right.
basic shit on ABC. NBC.
Yeah, I just loved watching it, bro. Whatever happened to that actor, Matthew Fox? Whatever happened to him?
You hear this? Might as well be fucking crickets going, what happened to that actor? This is what we're talking about here. And then I like I said in the last episode, it's so funny. I'm sitting here critiquing this. I'll get some Chris D'Elia fans up in my goddamn comments being like, your shit is so goddamn lazy. And what did I say last episode? They listen to podcasts where the hosts review movies. Let's give it up for the golden hour boys. You know what I mean? You gotta love them. You gotta love those good old golden hour fucking cucks, man. So let's actually have a little bit of a smoke break, why don't we, you know? I want to throw on a little bit of tunes, right? and get ready to spark up a little J, why don't we? And then get into some more segments, you know? Who do we got left in the episode, you know? Sometimes I got to go back to my notes and do a double check, a little double check ski, a discount double check, if you will. So we're going to be listening to a little bit of these tunes, having a couple smokes, and then after that, we're going to be jumping into the History Hyenas appearance on Joe Rogan. All that and more later on Lost Ox Media.
This girl is not cutting you some slack. I say, you and me are history, just let me be. I say, watch me as I walk away, don't follow me. I say, I'm getting over you and that's my victory. I say, as I go, suddenly you say you're sorry and that you'll change
That shit is smooth, eh?
your game.
Let's see who we have
But I
here.
left my love to
This is a song called Rainbow by Yasus. In case you were wondering, let's keep this smooth little jam bopping, have a couple more puffs.
I say, you and me are history, just let me be. I say, watch me as I walk away, don't follow me. I say, I'm getting over you and that's my victory. I say,
Ooh, I like that. Them bongos, baby.
yeah, 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 yeah. I gotta let you go.
Hope you guys are enjoying the new set. I just want to apologize for any hiccups in the flow that we're experiencing with this whole thing. New set, I had to move some computers around, move some screens around and stuff like that, so I'm still getting used to the way that this whole thing fucking operates. So bear with me. By next episode, we will be locked, and this shit will go by without a goddamn hitch.
I say, you and me are history, just let me be. I say, watch me as I walk away, don't follow me. I say, I'm getting over you and that's my victory. I say,
That's a nice little chant, huh? Ooh, I like that. So let's get into a little bit of this History Hyenas business, why don't we? So, remember I told you about how last time we talked about Chris DiStefano, this guy was going into a little bit of a goddamn, like, midlife crisis, you know, fumbling with his goddamn confidence, got a big decision coming up, you know, relaunching his podcast, History Hyenas, you know, it's a big move for him. The rehashing of the History Hyenas, you know, and his second chance at his friendship with his good buddy, Hyenas Papish. So, what do you do when you relaunch something like that? You want to do a little bit of a podcast circuit, get the fucking word out, try to snag a little bit of people from this guy's audience, a little bit of people from that guy's audience. Why not? I mean, we're all playing the same game here. So let's make some moves. So naturally, they end up wanting to go on the biggest podcast they can, and these two assholes were lucky enough to get on JRE, right? Now, when we talked about it, Chris was saying how he was bombing his ass off the whole time, how Hyenas was bombing his ass off the whole time, and how they were taking some big swings at jokes, and Joe was kind of really not feeling these two. And I'm going to tell you right now, after I watched this episode, I felt the same way. Like, immediately, you see Joe is not responsive to any of these guys' shit. And to contextualize these two, again for you guys, History Hyenas, watching these two in History Hyenas, it's the most ADD shit that you've ever seen. Like, you ever watch one of those videos where they go like, this is what it's like for an autistic person with like hypersensory like disorder or something, right? And you watch this like POV video and it's all warped and shit, and the sound's all loud and crazy, and it's like a person walking through like a grocery store, right? And all the fucking noises are emphasized, and everything's all crazy and coming out of left field over here. It's like it's kind of like that. It's like a podcast version of the intro to Saving Private Ryan. You know, you watch like 2 minutes of the history of Hyenas. There's a guy running across the screen with his arm fucking falling off. Because everything's going all over the goddamn place in that shit. So when you get a guy like Joe, who claims he's funny but is serious like 95% of the time, yeah, it's pretty natural he's not going to jive with this shit, right? And we're going to see that right out the rip. Because, sorry, shit's like playing. You go to full screen this thing, all of a sudden the whole thing goes haywire, has a mind of its own. So we're going to see this right out the rip, right? You know, Joe likes to start some of these episodes with a good old fat cigar, right? And you're going to see these guys bombing with the cigar. How do you bomb with just lighting the cigar? Like, how's that possible?
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
I want to see you vomit.
Are we up? This is Chris DeStefano's very first time ever
Okay.
lighting and smoking a cigar.
This-
How old are you?
40.
How have you managed to get this far with no cigars?
I don't know how to do any like really guy shit like that. Like I don't know how to play pool, cigars. I don't really know how to do that, but I do know every state capital.
See, why is Chris talking like this? You can already tell he's like nervous as shit. Because usually Chris would be like, I don't know how to light cigars because I'm fucking crazy, man. I'm Chrissy K. Like, that's the way we're used to Chris talking. We're not used to Chris being all soft-spoken pussy boy like this. You know, where this guy goes, how do you get 40 years without lighting a cigar? Look at this asshole. Wait until you see. Watch how he holds the cigar and shit. He's like holding them like he's never done this before. He's got the cigar like this, holding it all crazy like this, holding the lighter like this. You know what I mean? As if he's getting ready to cast a spell, and Harry, he's like, Wingardium Leviosa with the goddamn flame. That's not what we're doing here. You have to be more relaxed in this, man. Act like you fucking been here before.
Very first time ever
Okay.
lighting and smoking a cigar. How
This-
old are you?
40.
How have you managed to get this far?
Look at this. Watch. Look when he goes to like first put the thing in his mouth before he goes to talk. He goes to do that like, you ever see someone, they go with their all weird with their lips to go to like put their mouth on something. They go to like hit a vape. They go. He goes to do that weird shit as if he's never. This, you're going to try to tell me this guy's never sucked a dick before? So don't act like you've never had to put something of this like shape and size in and or around your mouth. Don't act like that.
Okay.
Lighting and smoking a cigar.
This-
Look. He does it right here. Look at the way his lips are pursed right here. This man is very unsure of this situation. You don't be pursing your lips like that for no goddamn cigar, right? You're not about to kiss the tip of a dick, my friend. You're about to start smoking a goddamn man stick. So act like it, okay? This is crazy.
How old are you?
40.
How have you managed to get this far with no cigars?
I don't know how to do any like really guy shit like that. Like I don't know how to play pool, cigars. I don't really know how to do that, but I do know every state capital.
Okay.
Yeah.
Light
Is
that
this the
cigar.
right way?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
he's
got it.
gonna vomit. I want to see him vomit.
I don't
on
think he's
your
gonna
show.
vomit. Don't inhale it. You got to get the fire.
First, you gotta
lower your hand.
Look, this guy, he doesn't even have the fucking flame at the thing right. Watch, the flame is like halfway up on the thing. If this right here, if this back of the microphone is a cigar, he has the flame like all the way up here, trying to light the thing. The bottom half of the cigar, nothing's touching here. Like, what are we doing here? This guy is crazy. You never even smoked like a joint before. It's the same concept.
Vomit. Don't inhale it. You got to get the fire.
First, you gotta
lower your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing this on purpose?
I swear on my kids, I've never
Okay.
done this.
No. I mean the way you're being retarded. Like get
The way you're being retarded, Joe. What the fuck? Look at this is a fucking painting right here. Of course, the soundboard goes out. Thank you. I think it's time to get a new iPad. You know, this one's very, very old. So, but this right here is like a fucking painting. So to see this like something out of the Mona Lisa. There's good color contrast. There's texture in the background, texture in the foreground. You know what I mean? 3 different subjects. not really good on the rule of thirds when it comes to like, compositing, but still not a bad painting if you were to hang something like this up in your house, right? And to hear Joe actually say this to fucking Chris, like, no, like, are you being like serious, Oh, I've never smoked before. No, the way you're being fucking retarded, right? Because Chris is acting like he has like no hand-eye coordination. He's acting like he's like a fucking baby or something trying to light this thing. You cannot tell me you're that nervous.
You got to get the fire.
First, you got to
lower your hand. Yeah. Are you doing this on purpose?
No. I swear on my kids, I've never done this.
No. I mean the way you're being retarded. Like, get the fire on the.
There we go. Right on there. Yeah.
And then he's not even. Look, I'm gonna show you. This is crazy, bro. He's not even inhaling. He's just putting the fucking thing to his mouth and just holding the flame there. You can see he has the flame on that thing for like a hot fucking like 10 seconds. This is a blowtorch. I have a blowtorch right here to help me light my joints. A joint touches this flame right here, that thing is going up, okay? It takes 2 seconds, okay? You shouldn't have it this hot on the goddamn tip and it's still not lit. That's insane.
Yeah. Are you doing this on purpose?
No. I swear on my kids, I've never done this.
No, I mean the way you're being retarded. Like, get the fire on the.
There we go.
Look at how long it's been on there.
Get it on
it's
there.
Still not
Get
lit.
Get it on there. Get it in there. There you go.
Yeah, right there.
He's not inhaling.
You're good.
He's not inhaling. Nothing's happening here, man. What the fuck are we doing? Look at this. The cherry's still not lit. How long was that flame on the tip of that shit? Are you serious? Like Joe might be on to something here. Chris might be losing his Chrissy Chaos marbles here.
Just start pulling.
No,
you're not good. How did you fuck that up?
What am I supposed to do? Smoke it?
You gotta inhale.
What am I supposed to do? Smoke it, he said. What do you think we've been doing this whole time here? Chris is sitting there globbing this fucking thing. It has it all in the tip of his mouth, slobbing this thing the fuck up. He looks at him and goes, what are we doing here? I'm supposed to smoke the goddamn thing? Like, is that what we got going on here?
Inhale while you're lighting it.
Yeah, what you want to do is inhale all the smoke in.
No. You just kind of take a deep.
See, look, Joe is such a Joe's just as retarded as Chris. Because Hyenas is sitting here fucking with Chris, right? Hyenas wants to be a comedian for once in his goddamn life. So he tells Chris, well, what you want to do is you want to inhale all the smoke, right? Anyone who's smoked a cigar before knows you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to enjoy the taste of the smoke. The cigar smoke is just supposed to kind of like mingle around in your mouth a little bit. You blow it out. It accents the taste of a good scotch. You know what I mean? So you're not supposed to inhale it. Actually, if you inhale it and you're not like used to that, it'll kind of make you sick a little bit. It's like something you don't want to be doing. So this is what Hyenas is doing. He's trying to play a joke on Chris. He goes, inhale that whole cigar, buddy. You got to inhale that whole cigar. And Joe's like, no, don't inhale it. Don't inhale it. Joe, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, we're trying to have a good time here, man.
Inhale all the smoke in.
No. You just kind of take a deep
fun with him.
Breathe in while you do it.
Finally, we got, oh my God, Chris. He finally got it lit. Finally, how long was that? I know I made it a little longer, but like if we would have played that uninterrupted, it would have took like a good 45 seconds. Imagine if I was lighting a joint for 45 straight seconds. That's crazy, right?
No.
Watch him cough his ass off.
Fun with him.
Breathe in while you're doing that.
Oh!
Jesus Christ. I don't know. How do you...
Look at him. He goes, I felt it in the thing. He's like, I inhaled.
No. You just kind of take a deep
fun with him.
Breathe in while you're doing that. I felt it in the thing. Jesus Christ. I don't know. How do you get to be 40 and never have a cigar?
Well, now he's a man. Now you're a man.
So what do I do now?
What do I do now? What do I do now? I'm Chrissy Chaos. Slam! You fucking slammed.
You puff on it?
It's not even lit. How did you fuck that up? I just tried to light it for 5 minutes.
You got to puff on it?
You got to do this. And you don't inhale. You just take it into your mouth.
Yeah.
Pause. You just take it into your mouth? What'd you just... Look at Joe. You just take that into your mouth, man. You inhale that. You put the cigar in the tit, and you just swallow the whole thing back like this, and you just. You know what I mean? That's how you're supposed to smoke a cigar, there, buddy.
You enjoy the taste of it.
There you go. Take some little puffs.
Yeah.
This is not gonna
Look, he's not even inhaled. Like, these guys have to actually tell him to inhale this fucking thing.
work out well. Couple puffs.
Yeah.
Take a puffs.
He's gonna light the whole
there
thing.
You go.
Now you're
puff,
good.
Puff. Puff. Keep puffing. Keep it lit. You want to keep it lit? There we go. Hyenas, when's the first time you smoked a cigar?
Sorry. When I was 6 years old.
Like
with
a
my
regular
uncle.
person.
Yeah. Like a regular person.
man.
With my.
Look, I'm going to give you guys that a little bit uninterrupted, man. I know I've been pausing, making jokes. Just watch this guy actually pull this off. This is like an after school special. You know what I mean? This is what happens when two middle schoolers find a cigar in like their dad's like cupboard or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Take it out in the woods a little bit, you know? Spark that bitch up, see what happens. This is like that middle school shit.
Well, now he's a man. Now you're a man.
So what do I do now?
Puff on it.
You puff on it.
It's not even lit. How did you fuck that up? You
I just
tried
I'm
to
sorry,
light it
Joe.
for 5 minutes.
You got to puff
You
on
got to
it.
do this, and you don't inhale. You just take it into your mouth.
Yeah. You enjoy the taste of it.
There you go. Take some little puffs.
Yeah.
This is not going to work out well. Couple puffs.
Yeah.
Take a puffs.
He's gonna light the whole
there
thing.
You go.
Now you're
puff,
good.
Puff. Puff. Keep puffing. Keep it lit. You want to keep it lit? There we go. Hyenas knows. Hyenas, when's the first time you smoked a cigar?
Sorry.
When I was 6 years old.
Like
with
a
my-
red-
Sorry. Look at Chris. Chris is legitimately like the nerdy kid at a party, and he's trying to smoke weed with everybody, right? And they're all getting pissed at him because he's not inhaling. He's just wasting everybody's weed, you know? You wasting a JRE cigar, my friend. We can't have that. We can't have that. You can't be fucking these goddamn cigars up like this, my friend. You know? This guy is actually retarded. So we're less than 2 minutes in at this point right here in the episode, and this guy is already bombing his ass off, right? Now, what happens when you bomb? You want to try to like save it any way you possibly can, right? You'll do anything. So they start bombing on Joe's show. Joe starts like talking some stuff. They start agreeing with everything, you know, a little more than Joe's guests usually do. You know, every guest that comes on here is trying to suck Joe's ass in some way or another. We all know that. But these guys, like, to try to save this intro, you know, they start sucking ass a little more than usual, to the point to where they start smelling Joe's armpits. And you think I'm joking. I'm not.
I work Dr. Squatch.
Shout out Dr. Squatch.
Shout out to Dr. Squatch. Natural. It doesn't have aluminum in it.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it works as good.
Well, there's
I
more.
think there's something to the aluminum. Why would
Yeah.
they put it in there if it wasn't effective?
No, I tried the deodorant without the aluminum, and I
Dr. Squatch
Doesn't
is good.
work.
You can take a sniff of these bits.
Can I take a peek?
Can I smell
Yeah,
it?
you can
Yeah.
smell. Come see.
Can I take a peek? He says. Can I take a peek? This is. You ask me something like this, I'm gonna be like, "What are you fucking stupid? Why would I want to smell your armpits, my friend?" And then on top of that, think about how weird it is for Joe to suggest that, right? Like for it to be like, "You want to come and smell them?" Like you don't believe me, you know what I mean? Because Joe's one of those like real tiny miniature like greasy Italians, you know what I mean? He's one of them greasy Italian boys. He likes him some pasta. So, you know, he wants to prove it to you that he doesn't smell like shit. Because normally these greasy, smelly Italians, you know, they're funking up the place. Nobody ordered hoagies, okay, over at JRE. So he wants to prove it to you that he smells good. So he goes, "You want to smell these pits? I wear Dr. Squatch."
I think there's something to the aluminum. Why would
Yeah.
they put it in there if it wasn't effective?
No, I tried the deodorant without the aluminum, and I
Dr. Squatch
Doesn't
is good.
work.
You can take a sniff of these bits.
Can I take a peek?
Can I smell
Yeah,
it?
you can
Look, even Joe had to make sure beforehand. Joe wasn't even sure. Joe was like, "Did I put deodorant on? Let me double check. Before you come over here, let me double check." And he goes, "Yeah, no, I got it. Come on.
Without the aluminum, and I
Dr. Squatch
Doesn't
is good.
work.
You can take a sniff of these bits.
Can I take a peek?
Can I smell
Yeah,
it?
you can smell. Come see a sniff.
Can I take a peek?"
Yeah,
he
you want me to
says.
go on the other side?
Come take a sniff.
Look at how fat. Watch how fast Chris takes those headphones off to sniff Joe's armpit, dude. That very suspicious. Very suspicious. Watch this guy.
Come see a sniff.
Take a smell. Yeah, you want me to go on the other side?
Watch
Take a
this.
sniff.
Look, look at how fast he's going to take these off. Watch this. Look at how fast. Lightning speed.
Take a sniff.
They smell
Fast as fuck.
good.
Yeah, that's right. Get in there.
Yeah, they smell
Wow,
good.
not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Dr.
That's a-
Squatch is legit. I forget which flavor.
Whoa, what the fuck? I wasn't expecting that. Dude, I forgot that Jamie was in frame like that. Let's see if we could get Jamie. Jamie's trying to hide, you know. He forgot that he hit that goddamn button. He wasn't expecting to be on camera like this.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Dr.
That's a-
Squatch is legit.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Jamie Vernon looking extra gay, bro. Good old Jamie, bro. That's crazy. Joe always talks about how awesome of a producer Jamie is, right? Because he can Google 2 things at once. Bitch, I'm controlling 2 computers, 2 iPads, a fucking mixer, a 12-channel mixer over here, 3 cameras, 1 monitor screen, 4 lights, 2 LCD TVs. Need I go on? I am doing it all in this bitch, okay? Meanwhile, Jamie can't even keep his goddamn end of the studio fucking clean, bro. Look at all this goddamn trash up in this. This guy's got aftershave, old bottles of discount vodka. What's that, Bodega Cat over there? Got fucking blow torches and hookah shit over here. Q-tips for the dab rig, bro. Clean that shit up, dude. You and your dog are not at home. You're at work right now, bro. Act like it.
Yeah, I forget which flavor it is. It's like fucking whiskey, bourbon, musk, some shit.
There's pheromones in
They have a
natural
bunch of good
scent
smells.
too.
Yeah.
They-
That's a lie.
You don't
I
think
mean,
so?
there's pheromones, but natural people smell disgusting. People that don't wear any deodorant, they always smell funky.
Stink.
Man, shut the fuck up, bro. Can you believe these assholes trying to save the bomb? Let's give it up for them. You know, you got to give it up for anyone who's just smelling up fucking Joe Rogan's pits like that. You know what I mean? You need to give him a standing O to go through some shit like that. Like I said, them hoagies are strong at the JRE office, you know? So let's get to some of these like actual bombs. You know, Chris is bombing with the cigar, but this is not like a joke bomb. You know what I mean? I want to see them bomb like with the jokes, like I'm expecting them to, right? You're going to see Hyenas is going to pull what I like to call a light bomb right here. This one's a light bomb, very little bomb, okay? He starts making these jokes to Joe, right? And trying to get real cutesy with it like they do on History Hyenas. Hyenas does this like high-pitched thing with his voice. He'll make a joke and he'll go real high with it like this, you know? And he'll be like, yeah, man, I'm doing this thing. I'm Hyenas Pappas from History Hyenas. You know, he does that. He tries to do that. So right here, he's about to try to make this joke where he goes to Chris. He goes, light me up, Chris. Light me up. As if like everyone in the room is going to start going, ah! Like, you know, Joe, he does that with like, Joe doesn't even give him the fake laugh that he does. You know, Joe will do the fake laugh where he goes, bah! Like in the background. Doesn't even give him that. Watch this. Hyenas with, light me up. Light me up, Hyenas.
30% of
Let me
America.
throw this one out there. You ready for this
Okay.
one? Do you think it's possible? Just hear me out. Do you think it's possible that what this existence actually is some type of prison planet, and we are negative emotions are being fed on by an ancient alien race that has kind of imprisoned us? And the reason why monks and people like that go into deep meditation is because a lot of this universe is spoken through vibrations, and they can get their vibrations to a certain height where they can vibrate and have so much positive energy that the prison planet rulers can't eat them, and they're not stuck in this loop like we are. Light me
Where'd
up.
you get this one?
Bro, no one's even following half of the shit that just came out of Chris's mouth. Chris is really fucking swinging with this shit. And this ain't even a joke. Like, Chris is just trying to stay in the goddamn conversation. You know, we're already losing him on the cigar light off. You know what I mean? Like, you getting tapped out in the first minute off of lighting a cigar. You got to sit in the back a little bit. Let Hyenas take this over. You know? That's what would have saved Chris a little bit. If he would have let Hyenas have some of these bombs on his own. Instead, he wants to go on these crazy rants. He goes, I got this theory about, like, an alternate reality where, like, we're all, like, fucking on a prison planet, bro. And, like, I'm trying to smoke this cigar on the prison planet on the JRE, bro. And we're all prisoners on the prison planet. But I can't even, half of the shit he was saying, I legitimately couldn't even follow this goddamn story.
This one out. Are you ready for this one? Do you think it's possible? Just hear me out. Do you think it's possible that what this existence actually is some type of prison planet, and we are negative emotions are being fed on by an ancient alien race that has kind of imprisoned us? And the reason why monks and people like that go into deep meditation is because a lot of this universe is spoken through vibrations, and they can get their vibrations to a certain height where they can vibrate and have so much positive energy that the prison planet rulers can't eat them, and they're not stuck in this loop like we are. Light me
Where'd
up.
you get this one?
This is real.
I thought it was eat their negative thoughts.
Eat their negative thoughts and negative emotions. Can you light me up, Giannis?
Yeah.
And what I'd like to hear about that.
This is such a feminine thing. He's asked you to hold the door open for him.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that Giannis's light me up joke comes later, bro. Chris starts the fucking light me up bomb. So Chris thought he was cooking with this one. He thought that he had this theory like in the bag. Because Joe likes this kind of shit. Chris came on here and he's like, "Oh, buddy, I got this theory for Joe. It's gonna really throw him all. I'm gonna fucking bring this one in, and I'm gonna bring it. Joe's gonna want to talk about this for like 45 minutes off of this shit, right?" So he goes in. What if we're all on like a prison planet, bro? And like ancient monks are vibrating through the universe and sticking stuff up their ass, and the people who are controlling the prison planet, they can't eat them because they're vibrating so hard because of what they got up their asses, you know? And Joe's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Chris thinks he's cooking so goddamn hard with this. He goes, "Light me up, Giannis," as if everyone's gonna like be like, "Oh man, that was fucking awesome." As if Joe's gonna turn and look to him and go, "You know what? Yeah, light him up, Giannis. That was awesome, bro. You deserve to get lit." Instead, Joe fucking turns at him and goes, "You got this guy lighting your fucking cigar?" He's like, "That's like the girliest shit I've ever seen."
Where they can vibrate and have so much positive energy that the prison planet rulers can't eat them, and they're not stuck in this loop like we are. Light me
Where'd
up.
you get this one?
This is real.
I thought it was eat their negative thoughts.
Eat their negative thoughts and negative emotions. Can you light me up, Giannis?
Yeah.
And what?
Can you light me up, Giannis? Chris thinks that he is cooking with this one. Light me up, Giannis. That's like the punchline. Light me up. You know, I can't wait till Giannis does it later. Light me up, man. That's Giannis' shtick.
I'd like to hear about that.
This is such a feminine thing. He's asked you to hold the door open for him.
Yeah.
Why don't you put the umbrella over his head, light a cigar?
Up, baby. You're getting lit up on nicotine.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You
I feel lightheaded.
And you know what's crazy? It's really not like the most feminine thing in the world. If somebody's got a lighter and they light like your cigarette or something for you, like it's a little weird, but it's not like the gayest thing you've ever seen. You know what I mean? When Chris does it, it's the gayest thing I've ever seen. I'm telling you, when he's doing it, it's gay. It's pretty gay.
You to hold the door open for him.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Watch him? Watch his
put the
lips.
umbrella over his head, light a
Look
cigar.
at this asshole.
You're getting lit up on nicotine.
He's sucking a dick right now. Chrissy Chaos is sucking a little bit of Chrissy cock. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, this guy is like, he might as well have a big black dick in his mouth. This is what I'm seeing right here. You have your lips pursed like this. And you taking flames to the face like this. You know what I mean? Hyenas is sitting there fucking blowtorching it all up in his fucking face, you know? Hyenas is sitting there going, "Yeah, take those flames, you fucking bitch." He goes, "Take those flames." He goes, "Purse your lips up a little bit more, you fucking bitch. Why I throw these flames all up in your fucking grill like that?" You know? And Chris is sitting there, "Am I doing it right, Joe Rogan?" Sucking on some dick.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I feel lightheaded. Is that normal?
Yeah, you're supposed to get.
I feel lightheaded.
Yeah, you may get sick too, but it'll be fine.
That's
would I
why
get sick?
cigars are so good for conversation. You're not gonna get sick. Cigars are so good.
You're not gonna get sick. Look at this asshole. I love it, dude. That was the first bomb of many. That was the first bomb of many. We're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. Now look, Chris, you thought that Chris was gonna be done with these cigar bombs? He ain't. Okay? He ain't. We're gonna see another one. If you put Chris in the same room as a cigar, it's a bomb on his part. He should be nowhere near a cigar, especially after seeing this shit. Like, he should be nowhere near anything manly, you know? And it's crazy because you'll hear him on other podcasts. Like he was on Matt and Shane's Secret podcast. We're talking about that again the other day. And Chris goes, man, it blows my mind that you know nothing about sports. Like you know nothing about anything manly, man. Like what's going on here? He's talking a lot of shit to Matt, right? And this guy can't do the least manly of manly things is lighting a cigar. That's out of all the manly things that you could do, lighting a cigar is the least manly out of all of them, right? And Chris can't even do that.
Sure.
Like the fighters that come to the UFC, the scariest motherfuckers are like the guys from Chechnya, like guys from Dagestan. Like those guys are terrifying.
Yeah.
Why? Well, look at the history of that part of the world.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have to be a hard person to fucking survive.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to just keep holding the cigar? You guys put it down.
No,
I put it down.
Chrissy, chaos, bro. You can't do this, man. You cannot do this, bro. If you don't want to hold the cigar, put it in the ashtray, bro. Like, imagine I'm sitting here with this fucking J in my hand the whole time. And I go, what am I supposed to do? Imagine if I asked you that. What am I supposed to do with this? If I was Joe, I would have told him to shove it up his ass. You know what I mean? What do you mean, what am I supposed to do with this? You cannot, like, you can't get invited to the biggest podcast in the world, right? And expect them to hold your hand the whole time. It cannot happen. When you get to this stage, you need to be like somewhat ready, dude. You need to come in there with like some idea of like how this shit works. You've been on this show before. You never watched an episode of JRE? You know, they're smoking cigars every goddamn episode. Buy a couple cigars at home and figure this shit the fuck out. You can't be sitting here going, am I just supposed to hold this thing the whole? Stick it up your ass.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to just keep holding the cigar? You guys put it down.
No,
I put it down every now and then.
So I just put it down, and now
don't
what?
do
Well,
it
that's
on
going to
paper.
set
Sorry
that on
about
fire.
that.
Yeah,
Jesus
that'll
Christ.
set the paper on
Sorry
fire.
about that.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Those are Dice's cigarettes in there, so don't take the cigarettes out. Take the fucking.
Look, Joe's starting to get annoyed with fucking his bombs, bro. Look. This, I almost forgot about how annoyed Joe got at this. Just him asking about the cigar was enough of a bomb for me to be like, dude, we can't be holding your hand throughout this whole 2.5 hours, bro. I'm sorry. Like, that we can't do that. Now, not only that, Joe is catching on to this. And Joe's starting to get fucking pissed off because Joe's like, dude, I hang out with like adults, bro. I don't need you coming in here. And then it's time for me to start babysitting again, all right? My kids, I don't even babysit my own fucking kids. Me and my wife, we leave them. We leave them in the house by themselves. We've been doing it ever since they were 3 years old. So we don't even fucking watch our own goddamn kids. Why would we watch you, man? We don't need this. You can't come in here like this. I thought that was enough. Joe's coming in here now. Joe's getting pissed. It's not just me.
I put it down every now and then.
So I just put it down, and now
Don't
what?
do
Well,
it
that's
on
going to
paper.
set that on fire.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that'll set the paper on
Sorry
fire.
about that. So, all right.
Those are Dice.
Look, this guy, he goes, yeah, but you can put the cigar down. So he immediately puts it down on whatever's on the table. You put it in an ashtray, man. So he puts it down on a stack of papers. Joe's like, what are you trying to do? Light the fucking studio on fire, bro?
There's cigarettes in there, so don't take the cigarettes out. Take the fucking ashtray.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what to do.
See, Joe, look.
This is fun, though.
Why do you want to keep Dice's cigarettes in there?
Because they're
Joe trying to save it by like laughing right after that. Dude, we saw right through that, Joe. I'm sorry. We saw it. We saw how pissed you were, bro. Don't pretend that you're not now just because Chris is, you know what I mean? You feel bad for Chris. What do you think? Chris is going to leave you a bad Yelp review, bro? Like, yeah, yell at him. Keep yelling at him. Maybe if you yell at him enough, it'll actually whip this asshole into shape and he actually might like figure something out for once. Like, so listen to this. Remember earlier I was talking about Andrew Dice Clay? How these guys like suck his dick so much and how he's just a washed up ass bitch, right? Remember I was talking about that? Watch them suck on some Andrew Dice dick real quick. This is crazy.
yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's
Dice
a good guy.
is another misunderstood guy,
Legitimate good dude.
and also a legitimate artist. Like his performance art, the weird stuff that he does in New York City for no money, for no people.
Do you want the picture?
There's
you
so
asking for a
few
picture?
people are even watching those clips.
Yeah.
If we haven't brought them up, like I don't know how many views they would even have.
So now listen, that this, if you were to just hear this and you don't, take a second look at what you just watched, like we do on the show, Yeah, you get it? You get it now? So if you were just like listening to that line come out, you wouldn't think anything of it. You'd be like, oh yeah, they're talking about Andrew Dice Clay. They think Andrew Dice Clay is awesome, whatever. You might think Andrew Dice Clay is awesome too. But what I hear when I hear them say all this stuff, they go, you ever see those clips Andrew's posting online? They're kind of like really cool, Nobody's watching them. Nobody ever brings them up. He doesn't make any money off of them. As a matter of fact, Joe's sitting there saying, if I didn't even bring him up on my show, I don't think anybody would ever watch him. And he's trying to make this like Andrew does these clips for the art, right? You know what these clips are? These clips are Andrew walking around New York City, aimlessly talking to random people that have no idea who he is, running up to them going, was it you that wanted the picture? Did you want the picture? Somebody was telling me that somebody here wanted a picture with me. And these people don't know who they're like. They're like, dude, this guy's going to fucking rape me. Like, he's doing this to, like, women and shit in New York. They're like, I'm going to die tonight. He's like, you want the picture? They're getting, like, cornered and shit. And he's like a zombie. He's like, you want the picture? I'm going to give you the picture so hard. I'm going to give you so many pictures. I thought it was you that said you wanted a picture. What's the matter? He's like, no means yes to this guy. So now, this to me is sad, right? When you know what the clips are and you hear them talk about this to me is sad. Now, why is it sad, right? It's because he's basically sitting there saying that Andrew's like slipping into like some form of like dementia or something. Or it's telling me that Andrew's trying to like fight to stay relevant to the point to where like he's trying to like fish for people to like recognize him, right? On the street. They go, well, no, why would I want a picture? Who are you? And then that gives them the opportunity to go, I'm Andrew Dice Gay. I sold out Madison Square Garden one time in like 1969. I've been riding that shit ever since. You never heard Hickory Dickory Dock? I suck a lot of cock. You never heard any of that? And that gives them the opportunity to brag. When I hear Joe talk about it like this, as if this is like some artistic movement from Andrew, right there, I'm like, Joe might actually be the retarded one. Chris can't smoke a cigar. Yes, we get it. But Joe actually might have gotten dropped on his head as a child once or twice.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's
Dice
a good guy.
is another misunderstood guy.
Legitimate good dude.
And also a legitimate artist. Like his performance art, the weird stuff that he does in New York City for no money, for no people.
Do you want the picture?
There's
you
so
asking for a
few
picture?
people are even watching those clips.
Yeah.
If we haven't brought them up, like I don't know how many views they would even have. He's not promoting it. He's not trying to go on podcasts.
It's amazing.
He doesn't even tell you about them. You have to find them.
Find them. Yep.
And if you're on a podcast, he's like, you gotta see this thing I'm doing where I pretend they want a picture. He doesn't do any of that.
Yeah, you know why? You know why he doesn't talk about them when he's on podcasts? Because he's embarrassed. He doesn't want people to know that he's like fishing for the shit, right? Because if he brings it up on a podcast, like he's posting it to try to get some attention. He wants to stay relevant online. So it's not like he doesn't want anyone to know, right? But if he goes on a podcast and he starts bringing it up, that's going to give the host an opportunity to start asking him questions about it, right? It's going to give the host an opportunity to start dissecting what he's talking about. And when they start boiling it down, like why he's actually doing it, he might end up getting outed on air and basically being like, I'm just fighting to stay relevant. That's really all it is. That's all that we're seeing here. That's all that I'm seeing when I see these Andrew Dice Gay clips, okay? And when I hear Joe talking about this, I'm like, this is Joe just, sucking D for one of his friends like he does. If you're in with Joe's like the guy to have on your side. I'll admit it. I wish Joe liked this show. Be a lot bigger of a show, right? I'd use this guy up. I'd use him for all he's worth. Then I'd kick him to the side. people would be like, what happened to that time you used to be good friends with Joe Rogan? I'd be like, Joe who? What are you talking about? Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. What are you talking about, Joe Rogan? What are we podcasting?
He doesn't do anything.
Oh, the Big Shot.
He's a real artist, man.
No, he's the best.
Look, wait,
Look
give
at
me
this.
some. Give me some.
You okay. Have you been keeping up with the drone flying saucer thing? No.
See?
Hi. Have you been seeing like the spaceships on?
See, that's what I'm talking about. When he does this shit to these women, they're like fearing for their lives. Like this woman right here, when he starts trying to like do this joke to this woman, she like legitimately thinks like this guy's gonna toss me into a back alley somewhere and have his way with me. She's like scared out of her mind.
Hi. Have you been seeing like the spaceships on? Did you see any of the flying saucers that they've been talking about? No. You.
Imagine that. Imagine some like 89-year-old guy coming up to you in New York, cut off finger leather gloves, right? The Jewiest nose you ever seen. He comes up wearing purple fucking sunglasses, and he's dressed like a 26-year-old. I would think that this guy was legit, like clinically insane. I'd be like, he escaped from somewhere, and he robbed the Goodwill store, and now this is where we are. I'm gonna have to fight this fucking bum in the middle of Times Square, just so he doesn't fucking try to pull one off on me. This is what I'd be getting out of this, because nobody knows who this guy is, you know, unless somebody is on a stage saying into a mic, "I'd like to introduce my friend Andrew Dice Clay." Nobody knows who Andrew Dice Clay is. I'm sorry. They don't. So for them to sit there and talk about these little bits as if like Andrew Dice is like still some guy, you know, like to be like reveled in the comedy world. I'm sorry. He ain't, bro. He ain't funny. He wasn't funny when he was big. He's not funny now. You know what I mean? Just because something's popular doesn't mean it's good. I just want to say that. Okay. People don't seem to resonate with that. So now, let's check out this German bomb from Hyenas. This one is rough. Dude, this one is so rough that like you can like physically see the bomb on Hyenas' face. Like right after he bombs, you see like the actual fucking like dread wash down Hyenas' face as if it's running water. It like legitimately goes from the top of his forehead to the... Oh my God. How embarrassing. I just burped. This guy, the dread literally goes from the top of his forehead to the bottom of his chin. Wait until you see this facial expression wash down him.
Weird. How about that German guy that ate that other guy's penis? He answered an ad.
Well, the guy asked him to.
Yeah, he asked him to eat his penis.
It is keto.
And they ate it together, right?
Yeah. But Germans are...
he ate his own dick. He ate his own penis with a buddy. It happens.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even a buddy. It was a guy he met on Craigslist or something.
Wires get crossed.
Germans, Germans.
What do you think that is?
I think it's just it's something in there that's like very.
But think about how good they are at engineering.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about...
Dude, that is rough, bro. Like, what the fuck? Look at Hyenas, bro. Someone please call 911. Because there's a bomb in the building. We need a bomb squad over in this motherfucker so goddamn quick. Dude, that was rough. Watch when he goes, I think it's just something in the water and the German water. And then Joe just blows past it, keeps going in his conversation. You could see Hyenas, he's kind of like tilts his head around. He's like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Oh my God. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's fucking shook. And that's not even the worst one. Wires get crossed.
Germans, Germans.
What do you think that is?
I think it's just it's something in there that's like very.
But think about how good they are at engineering.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about...
Yeah. He goes, yeah. Dude, he was expecting a laugh. You see him looking at Joe. He's like trying to act like a weird German guy. He's like, yeah, I see. Goes full blown into character. And fucking bombs. That is the worst. Like, when you really commit to it and it gets nothing, That's the most vulnerable feeling in the world. The only thing that could really equate to that is like if somebody, if you were like getting ready to like hook up with somebody and you got naked and then they go, nah, I'm good. You know, actually, I'm not. I don't think we could do this. We're moving too fast. You know what I mean? They say some shit. That would be like what that is. That would be a rejection at that level. You know, you were so sure you and this significant other were so comfortable with each other that you were getting ready to make sweet love. And then you take your clothes off, they take one look at you, they go, nope, sorry. That would be pretty fucking harsh, right? If something like that happened to you. That's basically what we just saw with Hyenas, right? And this ain't over yet. This guy's about to make a Wegovy joke that just goes right over Joe's head, bro. Like one of them drones that's flying over New Jersey right now.
Fucking mine. Huh. You know, I think there's probably a lot of side effects to a lot of these drugs that people are taking to get skinny, but at least it's moving you in a right direction because being fat is killing you.
Yeah.
Right.
Jamie, I just texted it to you.
I'm actually giving for Christmas a few of my friends Wegovy.
Yeah. For real?
Yeah. No, I mean I'm joking, but
oh
yeah.
Look, Hyenas had to turn back to the fucking screen real quick with that one, dude. Real fucking quick. Why? Dude, just the look on his face when Joe goes, really? He's like, you seriously don't get the joke, dude? Like, you fucking... like, Hyenas, they should be asking Joe, like, are you retarded? You remember in the intro, Joe was like, are you actually being serious right now? And Chris goes, no, I've never smoked a cigar, I swear. He goes, no, with how retarded you're being. You're being fucking stupid right now. Are you being serious? Why don't they ask that to Joe when he misses these jokes like this? Like, I'd be fuming right now. I'd be like, dude, you cannot be a professional comedian. You can't. I'm sorry.
My friends Wegovy.
Yeah. Let's go back a little more. I want to see the fucking close-up on Giannis's face when Joe says, what?
At
Really?
least it's moving you in a right direction because being fat is killing you.
Yeah.
Right.
Jamie, I just texted it to you.
I'm actually giving for Christmas a few of my friends Wegovy.
Yeah. For real?
Yeah. No, I mean
Look, Giannis right there. Look at Giannis with that smirk. Right here. Watch this. Yeah. He's smirking at him. Look at that. Trying to keep it subtle, right? Giannis is like, this guy is actually retarded. Like, I think this guy might be like actually fucking stupid right here. Like, this guy's got the most popular podcast in the world right now. This guy is like fucking like really, really something with how dumb he is, you know? But that's a rough bomb, dude. That's a rough bomb with that. If it goes so over his head that he starts asking you more questions about it rather than like going like, oh yeah, it's funny, or just like deadpanning. Because there's nothing. If you get no laugh, that's bad, right? But if you get it like to where it goes completely over someone's head, they try to keep going with the conversation, that's even worse. That's like way worse. Because they didn't even realize it was a joke, right? So they can't even say the joke was bad. They go, wait, you were actually trying to be funny right there? Like, are you fucking serious? You know? That's kind of what happens with that. So this is like a rough bomb.
I'm actually giving for Christmas a few of my friends Wegovy.
Yeah. For real?
Yeah. No, I mean I'm joking, but
oh
yeah. It was a nice bomb.
It was a nice bomb.
Yeah,
but at least we're not
serious.
talking about grizzly bears. If we're talking about grizzly bears, I know I'm really bombing. Yeah.
Let's
look at that. I like that. How Giannis tries to joke like that. He goes, yeah, I would know if I was really bombing because Joe would go on a like 78-minute rant about fucking grizzly bears, right? And we haven't hit that territory yet, so we can't be that bad, boys. We cannot be that bad. Now watch this. Dude, this was fucking hilarious. Giannis, they start talking about like Giannis's appearance, right? Because if you pay attention to Giannis, you notice his eyes are real close together, right? Kind of like a mutant almost. So they start talking about this, and Hyenas starts telling this story about how he goes to fucking use the clear in the TSA checkout, right? Or whatever, to get on the airplane. And the thing can't scan his eyes, right? And wait until you hear one of the TSA person, what they say to him.
person.
And what's good about us is we form one complete person because his eyes, if you look close, are too close together, and mine are a little too far apart. So when we come together, we form one regular face.
It's exactly
and
right.
He's got
Actually, true. Now
He's
that I'm
got
looking at it,
yeah.
I have a hard
He's got
time
a
not
small
seeing
head.
it.
I got a big head, and then we form together as
normal.
one.
Yeah.
as
You know what
one
happened to
person.
me
Yeah.
when I was using Clear? You know, you ever use Clear where you put your fingers on to go through the airport?
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah.
So the eye thing never worked for me. So I just thought something was wrong with their program. So every time I put my fingers on, and then finally I went there and they were like, the finger thing's not working. You got to use the eyes.
Yeah.
So I just said, your program's not working. It never works. And the guy looked at me and he said,
Yeah.
I think the problem is your eyes are too close together.
Seriously, it's
Imagine that. Imagine you going through fucking TSA checkout, right? And the person says to you, I think what the problem here is, sir, is that you look like a fucking cyclops. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be fuming, bro. I'd be like, did you actually just say that shit to me? Like, there has to be an easier way to say that. A more publicly, what does PR stand for? Or no, PC. There has to be a more politically correct way to say this to me. You cannot be calling me a goddamn cyclops in the middle of TSA like this, bro. And Hyenas has just got schooled by this goddamn TSA person, right? Joe, wait until you see Joe's face after Hyenas tells this story. Watch it.
And they were like, the finger thing's not working. You got to use the eyes.
Yeah.
So I just said, your program's not working. It never works. And the guy looked at me and he said,
Yeah.
I think the problem is your eyes are too close together.
Seriously, it's a real thing.
And then he said, why don't we try one eye at a time?
Yeah.
So
that's
then
what
I
it
just
is.
scanned my face across, and I think finally Clear registered that I was a three-dimensional person
Right.
and not like a mythical cyclopic creature.
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
true. And you know what we do is we speak things into existence.
Look, Joe's still stuck on that shit. Look at that. Dude, they were like almost done with the story, and Joe still got this face like this, bro. This is... Joe's like, bro, that person said that to you, bro. And the funniest part was as soon as Hyenas said that, he goes, man, yeah, my eyes are too close together, man. It's kind of crazy. And Joe's like, yeah, actually, now that you're talking about it, I did notice that. It's kind of crazy, dude. Now watch, dude. This next one, I need to make sure I have all the time codes. Okay, we're gonna end on this bomb from Chris. This is the bomb of all bombs, dude. Like to the point to where like Joe tells Chris to fuck off and everything. Wait until you see this. I'm not even gonna throw any context in there for you. Wait until you see this.
What with the crystal meth, the Panzer chocolate?
Yeah.
Panzer
Well,
chocolat.
yeah, it was Blitzed.
Yes.
It's a fucking crazy book. And
Yeah.
I had the author in here, and he's explaining. There it is. Here it is. Norman Ohler. This book is fucking nuts. This
Nice.
is nuts. They had the...
Can I take that for the plane?
No, this is my book.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck off.
Damn, dude, he tells him to fuck off. And look at Chris's fucking face. Actually, wait, go right here. Watch when he looks down. Ooh, right there, dude. Joe tells Chris to fuck off, and Chris is looking at him like, bro, I'll actually murder you, bro. I'm from Brooklyn, bro. Like, you don't fucking talk like that to a motherfucker from Brooklyn, bro. But, you know, he's so nervous. These 11 million people listening to this goddamn episode. Probably, maybe. I don't know if this is a big enough name to get that kind of draw across all platforms. But, you know, Chris is like really kind of going through it right here. Joe's like, nah, man, this is my book. Fuck off. Like, first off, you're fucking rich, bro. Like, the least you could do is give this guy a goddamn book. You know what I mean? Like, as if Joe was to say, like, oh, yeah, you could have the book. You're like, yeah, no problem, bro. Just like, I'll pay it forward, man. Read that shit on the plane on the way home, bro. I got you. The author of the book would probably see the episode. He'd be, you know what, Joe? I'm going to send you a copy special. I'm going to make it from the skin of all my dead daughters. I'm going to sign the book in blood. You're going to get a one-in-a-lifetime copy. You know, they're like hook Joe the fuck up off of this shit. Joe could get 10 million copies of this book sent to his house tomorrow. Okay? He probably wouldn't even have to pay for him. Some company would do it as like a good deed, as like a promo thing, you know? So he can give Chris this book if he wanted to, you know? So when I see Joe act like this, when Chris asks him this and Joe like snaps back at Chris like that, to me that says he doesn't like these guys.
Blitzed.
Yes.
It's a fucking crazy book. And I had the author in here, and he's explaining. There it is. Here it is. Norman Ohler. This book is fucking nuts. This
Nice.
is nuts. They had the.
Can I take that for the plane?
No, this is my book.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck off. Go buy one.
Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Don't you have an audiobook?
Dude, that was rough. Look at the way Chris acts. Like, this is, I said it earlier, this is like middle schooler at a party trying to fit in, gets blown the fuck up. This is like that type of behavior. Dude, it's almost sad to see the expression that just goes down Chris's face like this.
No, this is my book.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck off. Go buy one.
Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Don't you have an audiobook?
That is rough. Dude, we have to zoom in on that. That's a really rough expression, dude. Watch this.
No, this is my book.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck off. Go buy one.
Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Don't you have an audiobook reader
Dude, that was so rough, dude. Holy shit.
thing?
No, I like to read it, the words. I can't really listen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a weird brain like that.
Well, you can get audio book or regular books on your phone. Don't you know
Yeah,
that?
I try to. I feel like I'm addicted to the phone. I like to read the paperback.
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah. So, but you know, to each their own.
But if it wasn't for drugs,
Look, Chris is almost like pathetic in this shit, bro. We got to give it up for Chris, bro. Like, let's give it up for Chris, the History Hyena boys, you know what I mean, for trying to do their best on the good old JRE, you know what I mean? Let's get a little bit of music going, and we'll have another smoke break. Actually, this is a pretty interesting song that I want to bring up during this smoke break right here. I ended up like coming across this like random song on it was actually on Instagram. I was like posting a story to help promote an episode of the show on Instagram, and the episode had to do with Tony Hinchcliffe. So usually when I'm doing the music for the story post, I try to like make the music relevant to what I'm posting about. So I'll like type stuff into the search bar for music like Tony Hinchcliffe, right? Just to see what comes out. I'm not looking for like stand-up clips of Tony shit. I'm just seeing what music would come out of a search engine if I typed in the thing that I'm posting about, right? It could be Tony Hinchcliffe one day, it could be Joe Rogan the next day, it could be whatever. And you find some pretty interesting songs like that are associated with these guys. And I ended up finding this one from this rapper named Too Fast. And I actually thought the song was pretty damn good. And it starts with like a Cam Patterson quote from an episode of Kill Tony. So I wanted to feature it on the show, but you know how YouTube is with copyrights and stuff. So I actually reached out to this guy and was like, hey, did you write this song? I reached out to him on TikTok. The guy reached back and said that we could play some of his music on the show. So we're going to spark up this J, and I'm going to play a song from Too Fast. Let's check it out.
We should know about you as we get to know you. What do you think 3,000 people in front of you? What's something interesting about you?
I'm not retarded, but I like rocks.
Pull up on a motherfucker, make it rain, and breath of thunder, doing this shit. I was young, yeah. Fucking that bitch, she gonna suck on my dick, and you know I hit a lick.
They feel real good. I got this one.
Run, motherfucker, before I get the pistol. 10 shots at your fucking face, it don't miss ya. Run, pussy boy, yeah, you know we running down. Yeah, you know you hear the fucking sound of my 100 rounds. Bitch, I got big toys, yeah, I make big noise. Put her on a track for your bitch, she gon' spit twice. Let's have a fist fight, bitch, I'm a big guy. Pulling off a cat, yeah, I'm about to have a good night. I'm the top dealer, and I'm about to go and realer, man. Ain't nobody realer when I'm feeling all the milligrams. Bitch, you know I'm militant, hey, you know I'm him again. No side, shawty, when I'm chillin' with your bitch again. Yeah, I ain't got no fucking passport, I don't need one. Move across the water through the border.
Very interesting song by Mr. Too Fast. Usually every song's got like a couple different rappers featured on them and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed that song. I ended up using that song on one of my story posts and stuff like that. So let's give it up for Mr. Too Fast for letting us use some of them OG raps on Lost Docs Media. You know what I'm saying? So while this is playing in the background, I'll prime you guys for this Tim Heidecker interview on Matan Evans' show. So Mr. Heidecker is doing a little bit of the podcast circuit recently because he's doing a new stand-up tour. He's got a couple things going on that he wants to promote. So naturally, he's trying to get on some shows that do some numbers. And he ends up coming across Matan's show, probably sees that it's doing some big numbers, does a little bit of research, and probably says to himself, I could handle that kid. You know what I mean? So let me go on there and try to get some of those numbers. And usually, in good old Matan fashion, just like usual is what I meant to say. Sorry, the shmee is getting me. But just like usual Matan Evan fashion, he tries to shake the shit out of Tim the second that he gets on set. And I'm not going to lie to you, dude. The way that Tim ends up handling himself is like, it's like poetry in motion. Like, you actually, it doesn't get any smoother than this, the way that Tim actually fucking navigates this whole thing. So let's check this out. Right from the rip, you're going to see it's not going to disappoint. Tim's his performance. It doesn't disappoint. Okay, can we get oh yeah.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the
There we
podcast.
go.
For today's guest, we have Tim Heidecker. Welcome in. And then you can come and sit in the middle. Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you.
I appreciate it. And for today's co-host, welcome Viral Flooring, my manager. He will be today's co-host. He's a huge fan of you, by the way.
Nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support.
So if you could please just...
I like that. I'm going to do that.
Ooh, right there. See? This is what I'm talking about. So, as Matan usually does, he brings in another guy to sit there and act all awkward. So this guy's going to sit there and like cheesy smile at Tim like the whole time, right? So Tim is probably the only guest in the history of this podcast who's done any research before he comes on here. He knows that this is going to be a complete fuckfest the entire time. So as soon as he sees this asshole come out of left field to sit down next to him, Tim goes, okay, now we're starting. So he goes, this is where I need to start with my counterattack for this bullshit. This is a preemptive strike. Tim knows that if you really want to win a good battle, you got to hit while the iron's hot. You got to strike while the iron's hot, my friend. You got to hit first. And that's what he's doing here.
So if you could please just...
I like that. I'm going to do that 3 times during
Just
the
random
show.
points?
Like that.
So only one left.
No. Got 3 more. So I'm going to
You
do...
said 3 times.
I'm going to this.
So
I'm
now-
going to do
no,
that
that's it.
3
You just
times.
did it.
No.
You're out of-
These are examples of what I'm going to do 3 times.
You can't do it again. You just did it 3 times.
I did it twice. But those are the 3 times. I'm saying...
See, now, this is very interesting because you don't see Matan get flustered like this. Like, look, as soon as he goes to do this, so Tim's sitting there smacking the shit out of Matan's desks, right? And they sound like shit. They're like practically made of cardboard, right? So this is not good for the audio. So Matan's like, whoa, buddy, what are you doing? You fucking up my podcast, bro. You're making a lot of noise on a podcast. And Tim's sitting there smacking the tables. He goes, this is just an example of what I'm going to do throughout your show. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to do it 3 times, but all these times that I'm doing it now, he's smacking the table. He goes, these are all examples. They don't count towards the 3. So Matan's sitting there like, bro, this got to sound like shit, you know? And this is where I find the interest because now he's making Matan actually care about his own show, which normally doesn't happen. Matan doesn't give a fuck about the audio, how the guests feel, none of that. He's just trying to get the clips. That's it. So when you see him actually giving a fuck, kind of throws you off a little bit, doesn't it?
It is.
No. These are examples of what I'm going to do 3 times.
You can't do it again. You just did it 3 times.
I did it twice. But those are the 3 times. I'm saying during the show I'm going to do
You're just giving
that
an example.
3 times.
But now you've done it more than 3 times. Now it's 4. You don't even listen to your own rules. Please just, in case anybody doesn't know
I just
you.
love doing that to these tables. They make such a great sound.
Yeah, just in case anybody doesn't know you, please just introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about you. And
So now watch, Tim, right here, you're not going to hear hardly any serious shit come out of his mouth. And Matan's going to pick up on this. He's going to be like, no, you got to be serious. I'm the one who's supposed to doing all the fuckery here. You know, so Matan doesn't like this. This is going to be crazy.
And all that.
My name is Tim Heidecker. I'm the shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
That's not true.
I just thought I'd make a little joke because of my hat.
Can you take off the hat?
Yeah,
Can I check it out? You can have it back in a minute.
Oh, here we go.
See?
Just introduce.
So Tim knows. Tim, here we go. Tim knows. So Tim's like, all right, now I'm going to start pulling out my big guns here.
Introduce yourself.
Tim Heidecker, actor, comedian, father, husband.
And most people would know you from your TV show Tim and Eric.
I guess so, yeah.
Why did you decide to call it Tim and Eric and not Eric and Tim? Do you think you're better than Tim?
Than Eric.
No, than Tim.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's kind of clever that he's doing this wordplay with them. Right out the rip, he's trying to throw Matan for loops, where normally Matan is the one looping.
Better than Tim.
Than Eric.
No, than Tim.
Right.
Do you think you're
Looks like
better
that's
than
a
Tim?
Typo. Well, Tim and Eric sounds better, doesn't it? Tim and Eric. I think Eric and Tim sounds a little clunky. It's rhythm.
Why? Because you...
So now this is a good move on Tim's part. For him to stay like with his composure, you know what I mean? He's not going to let Matan win. And that's what we need. If you're going to defeat this kid, you have to keep composed, which normally doesn't happen. Everybody, they try to like either play into it, which kind of reeks of desperation because like they can't play into it because they don't really know how Matan operates. So it's like they try to play into it. It kind of makes them look even more like an asshole. Or you get the people who try to stay on the serious side and go completely against the grain. That's not the way to win either. Either way, going that route, either trying to play into it or going against the grain, you're showing emotion, which is going to give him fuel. Like, the reason people do these kind of shticks is to get a reaction out of you. So if you do what Tim's doing here and you just show no emotion, you stay completely composed, these trolls, they don't know what to do. They have no idea. It completely wipes their hard drives. They don't know what to do with this shit.
The Asian people as a race, or are we talking about nations? Because obviously there's going to be certain nations that we have good relationships with.
There's nobody back there.
I felt somebody back there. It was not cool. I don't want to be attacked by anybody.
There's nobody
especially
there. Look, you just see there's nobody there.
Okay.
You thought there was somebody there?
I see somebody there. It's fine.
See, so now he's trying to stay composed, but he's got somebody trying to grab at him through the fucking bedsheet. This is not good for Tim, you know? So you're about to see this composure kind of go out a little bit. He stays calm the whole time, but he starts causing a real big ruckus. And Matan doesn't like this.
It's fine.
That's just
we
because
can do a haunted house. You want to do a haunted house?
There's nothing going on here. I didn't flinch
That's
at that.
number 2.
Oh, that was the second one?
Actually, that was number 1.
No, that was number 5. Maybe 6.
People at home can watch. I did 2 as demonstrations.
There's nobody there. I'm telling
See, so now somebody tries to grab at him again, right? And this is where Tim's going to start fighting back like you've never seen.
I know someone's there. Ah, there he is. Anything else?
Sorry, that was Mike.
Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have had to cut that. Yeah, sorry if you just saw a cut. Mike was behind here and he thought it was a demon.
Right.
So he physically attacked Mike. Well, you threw down the curtain. So we had to cut it in.
So now you see, if you saw that, I almost missed it myself. Tim ended up fucking taking apart the whole goddamn shit. So they had to cut the cameras because Tim was like, I'm not having this. He starts tearing down the walls, the whole thing.
There's nobody there, I'm telling you.
I know someone's there. Ah, there he is.
See, he had to end up cutting. They end up cutting to a different shot because Tim's like, bro, we're not having this shit, bro. Right? So he stays composed for a little while. Then Tim starts getting serious. But he starts getting serious in like his own way here. You know? Like, you could see, even though he's getting serious, once again, he's staying very composed. And Matan doesn't know how to react to this.
Appreciate it.
Okay, let's get into Terry's guy who I said wasn't here. And please, go ahead and give him the garlic bread.
And the bottle of water there.
Forget the bottle of water.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that's not mine, though.
No, don't give him that.
I don't want to drink somebody else's bottle of water.
Fine, well, he'll give you your water.
Okay, and that Aquafina down there.
Go ahead.
Make sure you pay attention to the detail of the bottle of water being Aquafina. It's very important that Tim gets Aquafina, okay? Remember that.
There you go.
Leave that there, Mike. Terrorist Mike.
The Aquafina, thank you. He's deciding whether or not to get it. I could throw it. You could throw it. He's looking at you to decide should I give it or do you want me to not withhold? No. The Aquafina. The Aquafina.
Look at that. I love that shit right there. Look at that. That's assault, brother. That's assault. You come on here, you just fucking assault one of my goddamn co-hosts like that, throwing shit at him on the set. This is a wild episode. First, right out the rip, we're seeing people shooting off guns in the middle of the podcast set. Tim Heidecker tearing the walls down, throwing fucking bottles of water at the assistants and shit. I like this.
No. The Aquafina. The Aquafina.
Hey guys, sorry for the.
Now look, we cut to a fucking commercial, right? I hate these things, these ads. And then the next time code is right after the ads. They're still in the middle of throwing stuff. Watch this.
You want to plug the HDMI? You fucking piece of shit.
Look, it's so much fun the way Tim's like ruining this that even Matan's joining in. That's how big of a troll is that Matan is. He goes, when somebody's out trolling him, he can't help but to join in on the troll, even if the troll is a counter troll to him. He's that big of a troll. If he's trolling someone and they're trolling back and they're doing a good job, he will join in on the troll against himself, just because he's that committed to trolling. I love that. Now these guys are throwing shit. Tim got all serious. He throws a bag of garlic bread right at the camera and knocks it right out.
% off your order. Thank you to Sheets for sponsoring today's episode.
There you
want to
go.
plug the HDMI? You fucking piece of shit.
When you're done plugging that in, get me my Aquafina.
Ooh.
Don't give it to him. Now you unplug the angle.
You know what this is going to feel like?
I love that.
You can't see him now. He's smart.
He did. He got away. I'll give him that. He's sly.
All right,
He's quick.
Let's move on, okay?
You notice that? So you notice how Tim's doing this. He's very poetic with this. He's causing a ruckus, but he's still staying composed, which is nice. It's like you kind of don't expect that, really. You know what I mean? You really don't expect it. Now watch. This guy, he's about to start bitching people around and doing the whole thing. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what this next time code's about. I'm going to keep it real with you. The only note that I put in there was the word bitch. So this could mean anything. I have legitimately no idea what's going to happen right here. Oh, wait. Wrong time code. Let's go to bitch. Oh, wait. No, that was it. That was it. I'm sorry. I labeled the time code bitch because Matan calls him a bitch. Now watch this. Watch Tim start bitching these people around. This is the time code that I wanted to get on. Tim starts flexing his nuts on Matan like a motherfucker. Watch this.
Can we get the terrorists to bring in the knife, please?
No.
To
You
cut
bring
the
a
cake?
knife into this set, I walk.
No, please.
That's all.
No, it's a fake knife just to cut the cake.
Well, how's it going to cut the cake if it's fake?
Well, my hand could hypothetically cut the cake too, but that would be.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to get
unhygienic.
all Eric Andre here and get a big mess everywhere.
No, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
We're going to cut you a piece.
I like that, how Tim is like talking shit because Matan kind of is just taking Eric Andre's whole thing, which is fine. He's like making it his own and everything, but it's very Eric Andre what he's doing.
It's a slice. We'll celebrate it.
No. Back in your hole.
Go back, I guess.
Look at that.
Back in your hole. Don't pass it to him through the sheet or anything like that. I'm watching you.
Well, he'll just top you again and make sure you're not looking. Let's move on, okay?
Dude, this is wild. You don't see Matan letting people boss anyone around like that in the studio. It's kind of wild. Tim really flexing his nuts all over Matan's shit. Like his nuts right now are like, you know what I mean? He's really giving this guy like the what for here.
Oh, don't pass it to him through the sheet or anything like that. I'm watching you.
Well, he'll just top you again.
Hey.
Make sure you're not looking. Let's move on, okay? Sorry if I'm a little off topic now and I'm slurring my words. I'm on fire right now. Look at that. You see that running guy? That's me.
Can I touch?
Matan's been taking 5-hour energies this whole goddamn time. Now watch this. The ending of this is very interesting, as most endings with Matan are. Let's check this out and end this segment so we can move on.
Happy birthday cake. We nailed it. I mean, I think we got it.
Yeah, we did it. We can end it here. Here's the thing. I want to reuse that birthday cake idea for Long Neck, who's the next guest.
Well, looks like you're gonna have to run out to Ralph's and get another one because this is a gift to me, and I'm taking it
so
with
can
me.
you eat half of it and then we'll give the other half to him?
Joke doesn't work.
Why
Joke
not?
doesn't work as a half. It's got to be a fresh cake with the disease written on it. So unfortunately, either you kill that bit or you go out there and get another one before your next guest here. But
I don't
mine.
have time though. He doesn't have patience. He's not a patient guy.
That's not my problem.
He's super famous, by the way.
But thank you so much for having me down here.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
Whoa.
Look
Hello,
at
everybody.
that.
Welcome back to the.
I didn't mean to restart it. Matan got one final dig on him. I will give him that. I will give Matan. He pulled the old Donald Trump on him and fucking went to shake his hand, yanked him in there, dude. So let's give it up for Matan. At least he got a little bit of the last laugh on that, right? You know? Can't blame him for trying. I was so surprised. Like, usually Tim, he kind of like makes an ass out of himself because Tim is like real left leaning. So he'll like argue with like Republicans and like these like red pill type people and shit. And it kind of makes him seem a little like, I don't know. It's just a very cucky thing to be like arguing with people like that online. And Tim will do that from time to time. So I was very like surprised to see him go on there and handle himself so well with Mr. Matan even. You know what I mean? That's good shit. So this next set of time codes that we're going to get into, this next segment to end the episode, is going to be Army Hammer's appearance on Yo Mom's House. This is going to be a very interesting one because, like I was saying, if you know anything about Army's cancellation, you know that this guy was like real heavy into it, bro. Like sadomasochism. He was like tying people up like croissants and shit, talking about wanting to eat people's skin, wear people's faces. His family were like billionaire oil tycoons, so you know he comes from like a family of people that like they think that they can do whatever they want. They're a very rich, powerful family. So normally you get families like that, they always think that they can do whatever and get away with whatever. And this kind of shit is what leads to behavior like Mr. Hammer's here. So because we're running late on some time, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. We're going to talk about Mr. Hammer's cancellation. Listen to him talk about this shit, and then listen to how unsettling it is when Tom and Christina like relate to it so much. You know what I mean? Like they should be asking funny questions, yes, but they should be kind of like chipping away at this guy a little bit. If I had him on the show right here, I'd be like, tell me what it was like to eat the hide of a bitch, you know? It's like, I want to hear the dirty shit. I want you to out yourself on my show. That's what they need to be doing here. They need to be doing gotcha journalism, Pierce Morgan style shit, okay? Instead, they kind of praise this guy for how crazy he is. Listen to this.
Much more fun to focus on than the fact that I can't leave my living room. You know, and everyone was just like, let's dogpile on this story. And then stories kept coming out and kept coming out and kept coming out. And it's this, too. There's a clip of you guys talking where you say, Tom said to me when we first started dating that he wanted to smash my head open and eat my brains or whatever it is. And you say, no, that's not what I said. All I said is I love you so much I want to smash your head into the dresser.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, these are my people.
Yeah.
It's like, these are my people.
Well,
but by the way, now imagine if you guys broke up and Christina took her part of that conversation out and only released, Tom said he wanted to smash my head into a dresser and said it with a straight face. Everyone would go, he's obviously a domestic abuser.
I gotta say, man, I fucking like you.
Wait, soundboard, do your fucking job. What the fuck? Look at this asshole. Is that not crazy? So, like, Army's sitting there going, yeah, I saw a clip of you guys, man. And Christina was saying, like, oh, yeah, Tom, one time he texted me and said he wanted to smash my head open and eat my brains, right? And Tom goes, that's not true. That's not what I said. What I said was, I wanted to smash your head into a dresser because I love you so much. You know what I mean? Neither of those are good, right? So Mr. Hammer, he goes, yeah, and I saw that clip. And I was like, these are my people. They get it. They know what it's like to be taken out of context. So imagine now, Tom, if Christina just took the part where you said you wanted to smash the head out of the dresser, you know, and left out everything else, it'd still be the same. It'd be the same. Like, if I saw the text messages, I wouldn't be like, oh, he said he loves her, so he wants to smash her head into the dresser. That makes it better. No, that makes it weirder, actually. Like, that makes it even more sadistic. You know, that's like some Jeffrey Dahmer shit. Jeffrey Dahmer looking at you with his weird ass voice. I want to smash your head into the dresser. Yeah. You know, that's creepy. You know, so for Tom to sit here and go, after Army explains all this, for Tom to sit here and go, you know what, man? I like you, bro. You're awesome, bro. Like, that's weird.
Released, Tom said he wanted to smash my head into a dresser and said it with a straight face. Everyone would go, he's obviously a domestic abuser.
I gotta say, man, I fucking like you. I think, most of our intimate conversations involve things that are extremely offensive.
Sure.
You know, about all types of things.
We don't need you to try to justify this shit to us, okay? This is not what we need right now. They're gonna sit here and try to like normalize the kink to you. They're like all this kinky shit that Army's doing, they're gonna try to like normalize it to you. To the point to where I'm pretty sure Army actually says like, he goes, yeah, if I'm sitting at home drunk or high or stoned and I text a girl and I say, hey, I want to just cut your toe off and keep it in my back pocket so I have a piece of you everywhere I go. That's cute. There's nothing wrong with that. I should be able to say that to a girl and she should not be scared for her life. You know, they kind of like do this whole thing like that. That's not how this shit works, my friend. This is not the type of behavior we need to be normalizing in Hollywood or anywhere else, my friend.
Bit in my pocket, so I got a piece of you everywhere.
Look, these time codes are a little off right now.
Yeah, and like I like the idea that
it's a control
that
thing.
you are so completely mine.
Yeah,
I can do whatever I want, and you love it because you know you're mine, and like this possession kind of thing. Like that's just fun to talk about.
So
and by the way, especially if you're like drunk or stoned or high at night, and you're texting, and while you're saying it, you're like chuckling to yourself, like I'm gonna fucking cut your toe off and keep it in my pocket, so I got a piece of you everywhere I go.
I think I've actually said that.
What are you fucking nuts, dude? Tom has actually said that before. Look, Tom trying to be funny, he goes, I think it'd be hilarious to say that I've actually said that to Christina before, bro. Like, I'm a comedic genius, bro. I'd pay all the bills in this goddamn motherfucker with this kind of humor on a daily. This is awesome. So listen. Oh, goddamn, I'm starting to get tired. This recording's fucking me up. So now listen to the way that they sit here and try to make this as if like it's not a big deal. It's these rich people like Armie Hammer. You know why they're so into this, like this shit where they go, like I wanna like own a girl. Like I want to tie a girl up so she feels like she's nobody else's but mine. You know, it's because they can't buy. They've bought everything. The money that they have, so much money that there's like they look at like, well, what can't I buy? You know what I mean? But like nothing even gets exciting when I buy it anymore. Like when you save up for something, right? Like let's say you save up for like a new MacBook, right? You buy the MacBook, that you're checking that tracking every fucking day. You're like, hey, when's this thing gonna get here? You get all excited, you know, because it's this new thing, this new expensive thing that you had to save up, you had to earn it. You had to earn that. But if you were just rich, buying a $2,300 MacBook, that wouldn't seem like much to you. It'd be like a drop in the bucket, comparatively speaking, to your riches. So these rich fucks, they go, what can't I buy? You know what I mean? I got it all. I can't buy a person. That's what I can't buy, right? So that's how they get drawn to this kink of like wanting to tie people up and possess them and shit. Chop their toes off. You know what I mean? Keep them in their back pocket so they got pieces of them everywhere they go. This is where this shit stems from, right? So right out the rip, not having or having a shit ton of money is not a normal thing. So then you start throwing in this behavior like this is not a normal thing. So for them to sit here and be like laughing about it, like, and Army goes, I'm chuckling when I'm typing this shit to this girl, man. Like, I'm going to kill this bitch, man. We're all laughing. I'm drunk and high and stoned at home. That's not how this works, bro. You shouldn't be saying all this as if we're just supposed to accept it and be like, yo, Army Hammer's cool, man. He's back, bro. Like, no.
Idea that
It's a control
that
thing.
you are so completely mine.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want and you love it because you know you're mine, and like this possession kind of thing. Like, that's just fun to talk about.
So you
and by
would-
the way, especially if you're like drunk or stoned or
Yeah.
high at night and you're texting,
Yeah,
and while
of
you're
course.
saying it, you're like chuckling to yourself,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna fucking cut your
So-
toe off and keep it in my pocket so I got a piece of you everywhere I go.
Change my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love so hard to find.
we got him.
It's America's next most wanted serial killer right here. We're going to let this guy back in movies and he's going to end up being like, what's that guy? Who's the guy he got canceled for like fucking a bunch of dudes in Hollywood? Kevin Spacey. That's the one. This guy's going to be worse than Kevin Spacey. Watch. He's like, yeah, I want to keep a piece of you in my pocket everywhere I go, man. Like, and you thought that was weird, right? And you are right. That is weird that he says that. He keeps saying weird shit throughout this interview. Like, the weirdest, strangest goddamn metaphors you've ever fucking heard. You know? Like, listen to this next one that's going to come out of his mouth. This shit is wild.
Be fast and loose. And I was being a selfish asshole, like for sure. I was using people to make me feel better.
Mm.
People were my bags of dope with skin on it. Like,
Bro, this is the shit that I'm saying. When you hear this stuff, like, it's one thing to, all right, you're into some kinky stuff and you want to go on a podcast and you go, man, I was misunderstood, bro. Like, other people are into this same sexy, kinky stuff like me, and we should be able to talk about it in the open amongst adults. Yeah, okay, you want to advocate for that, that's cool. When you're advocating for that, you cannot be saying these crazy-ass, creepy metaphors like, I was using people as if they were my bags of dope with skin on them. That's not how that works. Like, when you say stuff like that, it makes us feel like you haven't changed at all. Like, you're still that creepy, fucking weird guy behind closed doors. And that when you say this kind of shit, you're trying to leave like breadcrumbs to let us know, almost like you're playing a sick little game. Like, yeah, I can go out in public and say all this shit. I'll even push the envelope a little bit and watch. I'll be like a wolf in sheep's clothing to these people. They won't even realize that I'm still the same guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm hearing here. Listen to he's basically talking about how he used to love bomb these bitches. He would love bomb the shit out of a girl, take her on all these crazy vacations, whip the fuck out of her, like chop a couple limbs off, maybe take some skin tags home for lunch, and then just ditch them, right? So he's basically talking about how he just uses these girls up and throws them by the wayside. And this is the metaphor you want to use in that situation. Right.
these conditions. I'm saying yes, thinking that I can get all of these things. And then when they don't get all of those things, it's very easy to revoke conditional consent.
So it's almost like it just needs to be a more extensive.
I also want to say that, like, I was playing pretty fast and loose, and I was being a selfish asshole, like, for sure. I was using people to make me feel better. People were my bags of dope with skin on it. Like, having people want to have sex with me, having sex with people, doing all that stuff, like, it gave me a sense of power. It gave
and the craziest part is, like, he says that, he goes, people were like my bags of dope with skin on them. And Christina's in the background, and because she thinks she's a fucking psychiatrist. Like, Christina legitimately thinks she's a psychiatrist. So she's sitting in the background going, so true. Like, he's saying this shit, she's like trying to like sit there as if she's like some therapist going like, right. Like she's writing it all down. Like, I'm going to analyze this guy. Like, watch me, Tom. I'm going to analyze him. Like, you ain't going to analyze shit. This guy's going to kill somebody one day. Watch. And this is so funny. They start talking about the family's riches and stuff like that, right? And they go, oh, what's it like to be like that rich? Did you see anything that like, you know, was kind of crazy and blah, blah, blah. And he starts talking about like, you know, people that they have a lot of riches. People think it's like some walk in the park, but you know what they say? Mo money. Mo what? You know what I mean? Like, so watch this guy. This is hands down the whitest guy you've ever met, right? And he tries to start quoting, what is that, like some Biggie lyrics, right? Like that. And he starts going, you know what they say? Mo money, mo problems. But he says it like in the whitest way possible. I'm trying to think of what movie. There was like a movie where some actor says it like exactly the way that he's saying it right here. Like, it's almost like, I thought he was, it almost feels like he's doing this on purpose to seem like more of like a ditz, you know, to us.
Insane amounts of wealth. And it's kind of like what, you know, Biggie was talking about, where he's like, mo money, mo problems.
Yeah, sure.
And now,
yeah, see, I got to back it up. I don't know why, but for some reason, the time codes on this one particular episode are like shifted like a couple seconds. I can't tell you why. It seems like every time I start a time code, it starts in like the middle of the story that I intended it to be at. So bear with me here.
So for 300,000 years of Homo sapien history, you were well off if you're like, we fucking harvested enough grain to get us through the winter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that agrarian culture is like just ending really on the timeline of humanity. So now you have people who have amassed insane amounts of wealth. And it's kind of like what, you know, Biggie was talking about, where he's like, mo money, mo problems.
Yeah. Sure.
And now mo money, mo access, and like mo money, mo whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Mo money, mo what? Like, listen to the way he says this shit. You know, it's just like that Biggie song where he says, mo money, mo problems. But then it becomes mo money, mo access. Mo money, mo dicks in your ass. Mo money, mo tying ropes around bitches' mouths and cutting their limbs off. It becomes mo a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
You know, Biggie was talking about, where he's like, mo money, mo problems.
Yeah, sure.
And now mo money, mo access, and like mo money, mo whatever you want to do, you can do it. And I don't think human beings are built for that.
They're not built for that.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think that like,
you know what the funniest thing about that is? Like, sometimes like white people will say stuff like that. Like, it's really not that hard to like not sound like the whitest person in the world when you're saying stuff like that. Like, if I was sitting there talking to somebody, I'd be like, yeah, you know, like the Biggie lyric where he's like, mo money, mo problems. You know what I mean? Like, you just say the shit. You know, it's like when it's when people, I mean, let's be honest, white people in particular. It's when white people, they want to try to say it cool. So they sound weird by saying it. They start throwing an emphasis on it. Mo money, mo problems. You know what I mean? Like, just say it. Mo money, mo problems, bitch. That's it. You can say it and still sound like a normal person. You could even say it and sound cool. You know what I mean? But when you try to sound cool, you can't sound cool. You know what I mean? So when he says this mo money, mo problems, I was laughing my ass off. I was like, this guy has got to stop. Now, let's get back to it. Let's get back to the kink talk. You know, we can't stray away from the kink talk too much longer. This Army Hammer we're talking about here. I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised that, like, he didn't. If I was Army Hammer and I got on a podcast and people just started nailing me about, like, the shit that I got canceled for, I would be like, I know that was a big thing, and like I'll talk about it for a little bit, but I would like to talk about my podcast, you know what I mean? Maybe what I'm doing now, you know? Like, can we kind of like stray away from that at least a little bit, please?
About it. I don't talk to anybody about any of my shit. I'm just like, this is not a safe place for me to experiment or whatever. So
when you're first doing it, though, are you just experimenting yourself, or are you actually with someone who knows what's up?
No, I bought a mannequin.
You did?
From like a
Really?
department store. Yeah, I bought
That's
a mannequin.
smart. That's
But did you read
responsible.
up on the
Yeah,
you
there's
did?
books and
Okay.
YouTube videos. And
Yeah, let's get some ropes.
there you go.
It does look beautiful,
Yeah.
actually, in the documentary.
Well, the
I would
idea,
love
the
to
idea
see
I
of
was
it
like,
is,
oh, that's really
Listen to these guys. Like, this is crazy, bro. Tom and Christina might actually have like a new best friend. To sit there and go, like, to be like, how did you learn how to tie ropes, man? Like, was it hard for you to learn how to tie ropes like that? And he goes, oh yeah, I just bought a mannequin. Like, that's how I ended up doing it. Like, imagine if this was coming out of Josh Potter's mouth. You guys know Josh Potter? That fucking crazy, like, A-boff looking freak. Imagine that. As a matter of fact, let me show you guys what I'm talking about here, because I'm not sure if you guys like actually know who Josh Potter is, right? So I'm gonna give you a picture of Josh Potter so I can kind of give you that, because this is kind of like a little bit of that double standard that people talk about, you know? Like, when people go, oh, if it's the hot guy in the office that says, hey there, Tam, I'm trying to think of a woman's name without saying one that's like a girl that I actually know in real life. If like the hot guy in the office goes, hey there, Sasha, you looking good in those jeans today, right? And then nobody says anything. We're all cool, the guy's hot, right? But then the creepy janitor comes up and goes, hey there, Sasha, looking good in those jeans today. And then everyone fucking starts a whole goddamn thing. And they're like, arrest this fucking creepy ass skinny fuck, right? This is kind of the same shit that we're talking about here. Like, the Josh Potter guy I'm talking about is another comedian, creepy as hell looking, right? Involved in a lot of sex work as well. He works with YMH a lot. He does their like behind the jeans when they do like the live streams talking about like the behind the scenes shit. Josh Potter does all that. This is what Josh Potter looks like. Now imagine, right? Imagine this guy is sitting here talking about buying mannequins to practice tying fucking ropes on him so he could tie bitches up in his goddamn apartment. Imagine that, right? But we're supposed to be cool with it because it's Army Hammer, right? Like, we're just all cool because Army Hammer's in the mix. That shit ain't cool to me, bro. Listen to this.
To teach you, like,
I've talked to people. I mean, now at this point, like, I don't talk to anybody about it. I don't talk to anybody about any of my shit. I'm just like, this is not a safe place for me to experiment or whatever. So
when you're first doing it, though, are you just experimenting yourself, or are you actually with someone who knows what's up?
I bought a mannequin.
You did?
From like a department store. Yeah, I bought a mannequin.
Look at how fucking like he's like so like happy with himself right here. I bought a mannequin. He's got a crazy voice. He's got like the manliest voice, bro. He's like, I bought a mannequin. They're like, how'd you learn how to tie ropes? He's like, I bought me a goddamn mannequin. I tied that bitch up 9 ways from Sunday. You know, this guy, like, he could be doing so much good in the world. He could be slamming puss with the best of them. You know what I mean? Instead, he's out there chaining bitches up, tying like hooks in their back and tying them off to the ceiling and shit. Come on, man. That's crazy talk. Like, imagine if that was Josh Potter. Like, listen to this shit that they're about to keep talking about. And like I said, picture that guy that I just showed you on the screen. Picture all of this coming out of his mouth.
Them shoving something into their ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, yes.
The time code's off. There we go again. Time code's off. Okay, let's get back to it. Imagine this is Josh Potter. He's talking a bunch of crazy sex stuff. Here we go.
But also, like, I thought about that, and then I was like, maybe this is onto something. But then I was like, okay, wait, hold on. But also, like, have I learned nothing from like trusting strangers? And then also, is someone who sends a complete stranger a picture of like them shoving something into their ass?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, yes, but is this a balanced, healthy person?
True.
Look, you see Tom's face? Even Tom was kind of like, where's he going with it? Like, Tom starts to get worried here. Tom's like, well, we might have made a mistake having this guy on.
Yes, but is this a...
See, look at Tom. Tom's like, but what? But what? Like, what do you mean, but? Here, buddy. Like, what are you saying here? Where are we going with this? You want a girl to send you Instagram messages of her shoving shit up her ass. Where are we going with this?
Balanced, healthy person.
True.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah. She's at least cool. You know,
yeah.
She's cool.
I mean, she's down.
Yeah.
Am I balanced and healthy? I'm trying, but not really.
So have you developed a
Christina
pretty good
loves
gauge?
this. Christina's ready to throw it all away for Mr. Hammer. Look at the way she's laughing off of this guy. Tom might be in trouble. And in this interview, he was talking about how he's working again in Hollywood. He was saying he's turning jobs down. They They got him back in the mix. He was saying how everyone in Hollywood, normally they would look at a situation like this. They would go, that guy's a monster. Keep him away. He's saying now everyone's looking at him like, damn, man, Army Hammer got fucked, bro. Like, he shouldn't have got it did to him the way he got it did to him. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's working again. So Tom might be in trouble, dude. He gets a couple good roles. Christina might be S&Ds and getting tied up quicker than you think.
Yeah. She's at least cool. She's cool.
I mean, she's down.
Yeah.
Am I balanced and healthy? I'm trying, but not really.
So have you
Look at
developed
that.
a pretty good gauge?
That's worrying.
For like, here's someone that I can pursue.
No, my picker is terrible. Like, my picker is broken.
So what do you do?
Imagine that. Imagine Josh Potter sitting there talking on the screen going, yeah, man, I think it'd be cool, dude, if I got like a Instagram DM from a girl. She was shoving like a bunch of stuff up her ass. It'd be real cool, man. She's shoving like a glass porcupine up her ass. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm into it, bro. Like, this is crazy. And listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. We're going to end it on this segment right here. He's talking about how he's the king creature. You know what I mean? That's like, this guy has not changed at all. He starts talking about how he got this tattoo in like high school on his ass, and it's called King Creature. And the reason why he got it is because he knew he was a creature. And if he was going to be a creature, he wanted to be the king creature, okay? Listen to this crazy shit.
Did not relate to the image of me that was out there in the public of sort of like this, like, look at them. They're like the Ralph Lauren family. They've got the perfect life and the perfect house and the perfect kids and like, oh, this shit. Like, I was like, I feel like a fucking alien walking around most of the time. Like, I don't feel like a human. I feel like a creature. Yeah. And I have King Creature tattooed on my ass that I got at a pool party because I was drunk and someone was like, you want a stick and poke tattoo? And I was like, that's the best idea I've ever heard. Fucking, here's my ass. And because like the thing.
Listen to that. That's now see when I hear like when you hear King Creature, like, oh, this guy got a tattoo on his ass. It says King Creature. He got it when he was younger. That's not that bad. Like, that's some typical frat boy bullshit that someone, yo, he's rad, bro. This guy's like the King Creature, bro. Like, he's drinking like crazy beer bongs, bro. He's like a creature, dude. Like, I get that. You know what I mean? But it's when he says this justification that he pulls out of his ass, his King Creature ass, it's just bullshit. This is like, you got the tattoo as a stupid like thing when you were a kid, and now that you're older and you're this sadistic monster, you're trying to like find ways to like tie your life into the excuses and the explanations. Like, yeah, I got this tattoo because I knew all along I was a King Creature. No, you got caught now. You're trying to tie this like erratic behavior that you've had all your life, and tie it into like this like therapeutic type bullshit, right? We ain't buying it, bro. They all try to do this. They all try to go, yeah, I did all this because I knew the whole time. Yeah, you knew the whole time that you were an erratic fucking crazy fool. So now you want to be like, yeah, the King Creature. Nah, bro, I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's crazy. Listen to this.
Thinking of it was like, I don't feel like a human. I feel like a creature. So if I'm going to be a creature, I'm going to be the king of creatures. So, and like, I'm just going to lean into this. And so I would like things on my Twitter. I would like rope bondage pictures and shit like that.
Oh, it's like your signal to it.
It was like I was dog whistling, yes, if you will, and wanting, I think, to get caught. And then people would be like, I don't think he knows. His Twitter likes are public. And I'd see that and I'd be like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And it was silly. It was silly.
So it was a way to get out.
See, he's saying he's like dog whistling now. It's like still kind of like a dog whistle. You know what I mean? I feel like this right here is like a dog whistle in itself. It's like him trying to go and do the podcast circuit and be like, look, guys, I'm changed. I'm getting back into the roles. I'm starting to do my thing again. I don't talk to anyone like that. I kind of try to keep my sexual proclivities in this like one little like organized group of people, I'm not out there mingling. But he's saying weird shit like I'm using up girls like they're my bag of dope with skin on them, I got King Creature on my ass, you know what I mean? Like, maybe this interview here is a dog whistle. Like, anybody think of that? I don't know. That's kind of how I feel a little bit. This all might be like an Inception game there. This is a big dog whistle.
Dog whistling,
yes,
if you will. Yeah. And wanting, I think, to get caught. And then people would be like, I don't think he knows. His Twitter likes are public. And I'd see that and I'd be like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And it was silly. It was silly.
So it was a way to get out from under this public persona?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a way to try to feel seen.
Like truly.
A way to try to imagine that. Imagine an actor who was in a movie as big as The Social Network, feeling like he hasn't been seen by anybody. Let's give it up for Armie Hammer and the appearance of a lifetime on the good old YMH podcast, you know? So that's going to do it for this episode of Lost Aux Media, mate. We're going to put on a couple tunes, get ready to call this one a day. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on yet another episode of Lost Aux Media, where we cover the finest jamokes in the comedy and internet circuit. Be sure to check out lostox.media to stay up to date with all things Lost Aux Media, buy merch, and other things along those lines. You can stay up to date with our social links up there. We got links to the Spotify page, YouTube page, podcast page, the whole nine. Soon, we'll have a membership up there with exclusive content and the things of the like. Gonna be calling that one Lost Aux Media's Burn Unit, baby. So be sure to stay up to date with lostox.media so you can know when the Burn Unit starts up and you can keep up with that exclusive content. As always, episodes go up Wednesdays at 5 a.m. Video goes up at 4 p.m. That way you can listen on your way to work. And when you get home from work, you can watch them. Be sure to catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else that your podcasts live, youtube.com, and as always, once again, lostox.media. Until next time, I bid you adieu and goodbye.
Far